hi. I need to put you guys on. You guys are not dressed. I know I just got out of the shower, but you guys are supposed to be dressed and ready. I also need to move my fan because it is really warm in my room, which is really annoying because I literally just have a shower, and I like to make my showers cold at the end so that I can like be all cool and everything and not sweat at me after because I get hot really easily. But now my room is really stuffy, so we'll see how that goes. But I do have some ice. I have a nice icy drink, so hopefully that will help. But hello, good morning. Hi. Hiya. I would love to turn this fan off, but then I feel like I'm gonna end up sweaty, and that'll make me sad because I'll have to have a second shower later. But hello. How is everybody? How is everybody doing? Hi. Oh my gosh, it's too humid. It's too humid. It's way too humid. Why are you guys still on? There we go. I gotta turn that shit back on. And while I'm here, also, before we get into the main part of today, which is yapping about like projects that I've done and everything, can my fan be quieter? Which is yapping about projects I've done and everything. I am actually going to do my skincare while we sit here. Don't mind me. I need to do that. Let's do my skincare routine and also eat some vitamins. How's that? God, that thing is loud in my mic, isn't it? I'm looking at it on OBS, it's bothering me. I also need to tie my hair up because it is very warm. Why are my hairbands all gone? But yeah, so today is Azatsu, so we will just be chatting in general anyway. But specifically, we have a topic today. We have a theme. After I find my hairbands. There they are. Hang on. Wait. Make me sweat. Make me harder. Make me lose my breath. Make me water. My voice is coming back. I'm really happy about it. I'm so glad it's finally coming back to me. I'm finally getting it back. I'm still like a little bit congested. You know, I'm still a little bit weak. Like I still wouldn't record in this state, but I'm getting it back. I have less like sniffles each day fuck, I'm dropping my hair, but I have less sniffles each day, and that is an absolute win for me. But yeah, my voice is coming back, and I'm getting better. I had a nice shower just now. It was a very long one because I really needed to do my hair because I kind of fell behind it while I was sick and stuff. And I'm dropping hairbands everywhere. Oh my god. I'm just gonna move those. And yeah, and it's very nice. But I've been listening to a bunch of, this morning I got into the mood to listen to a shit ton of Afrobeats. I don't usually tie my hair up, this much, like into my puffs, right after a shower, but because then it's gonna like still be damp, but I need to so I can do my skincare. There we go. Okay, anyway, yeah. This morning I've been listening to a bunch of Afrobeats. I got into the mood for it because my sister found a bunch of photos of my dad when he was younger, and I got like flashback with a billion memories. Because have I told you gachis that my dad is an acrobat? I don't know if I've shared dad lore. I don't really talk about my family that much on stream other than like tiny little facts, but he is, or was. Also, why is there a little, I don't like that there's a little plus sign, a little like down arrow on you guys. That's not supposed to be there. That's very strange. Why is it doing that? I don't know what's happening there. Like, it's not the most recent chat that's there. You have not. Have I not? I haven't even told you? I didn't realize I hadn't told you. Yeah, my dad was an acrobat when he was younger. That's some Emmy. Why is this? Sorry. It's really bothering me that it's not giving me the most recent chat on screen. I don't know why it's. There we go. Now it's better. Acro cow, we're like, not bad. Well, yeah. But yeah, no, my dad was an acrobat. Crazy shit for him, I know. But yeah, my dad was an acrobat when he was younger and did all kinds of insane shit. My sister found a bunch of photos recently. I can send one of them to you, Serena. But my sister found a bunch of photos recently of him when he was younger, like balancing on shit and everything. But because of that, I was thinking about my dad and then thinking about all kinds of music taste. So I've been on an Afrobeats trip this morning, and also a bunch of reggae, because I was raised on a lot of reggae as a kid. I feel like everyone ends up with like at least one specific genre that their parents really like that you're raised on when you're younger. Like, there's a lot of generic music that you'll have just from like wherever you are, right? Like like I'm British, so of course I know Sweet Caroline, that type of shit. But specifically, it's like I have a friend whose parents are really into a lot of like hard rock music, so that a lot of that is nostalgic for them, or stuff like that, or like jazz things. But my family was a reggae family, very much so. And in fact, it wasn't even my dad who was most of it. It was the white cow part of me. My mom was super duper into reggae, and like my dad too, but it's part of how they bonded, I think. And my mom used to go to a lot of like reggae clubs and stuff when I was younger, and I was raised listening to a lot of it. I need to get back into a lot of the songs that I listened to as a kid. Maybe I should make a reggae song one day. Would you guys listen to an Emmy reggae release? If I dropped my first original song and it was reggae, would you fuck with it? Moisturizer time. My father's country's heritage from that you got some drums of him. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess that's right. You would only know those bits. But yes, no, he was an acrobat as well, a traveling acrobat at that, and everything. The whole pizzazz. My dad is kind of a fascinating creature, because you'd think cows generally aren't, you know, like known for being super athletic. This is like pretty common for people, right? That cows aren't, that's not really their thing. But my dad did all kinds of crazy shit, especially because the thing about my dad, so like he's an acrobat and everything. He was a traveling acrobat. He's one of the strongest people I've known. Super healthy and just in general as well. He was a great cook. I say was like he's dead. He's not dead. But my dad's a great cook and super just like healthy in general in his life. If you ignore some other things, but when I was growing up, he was super healthy. Moisturize. But yeah. Super healthy and strong. He's like the type of strong where it's like, you know, when a person can just like physically move you if they need to. Like my dad, there'd be times he really had a habit of like preaching all the fucking time. Like it's not even just like preaching in the sense that he wanted to be right, but like straight up, I could just try and have a normal conversation with him, and then it's like I'll hear him try to start give me some point, like some advice about life, and I'm like, oh fuck, I'm gonna be here for 3 hours. And genuinely, I have watched my phone as hours go by sometimes when he starts yapping, and he just like changes point halfway through 5 different times, different things about the world and the universe and like God and family and all kinds of things, and he just keeps going. But I remember one time that he was doing that while we were like sitting in the garden, and he was like pointing at our tree, saying how it's like the tree of life and all this stuff, and I was like, okay bro. And then I was gonna be like, okay, well I need to go, like I have a thing to do, and he was like, no, sit, sit down. And I was like, oh well, I have a thing. And he said sit, and he just put his hand on my shoulder and sat me down. Like it wasn't even like he was like aggressively doing this, right? He didn't use this to be mean, at least in my memory. It's not like he was like doing something actively forceful. It was just him like, you know, trying to put a hand on him and be like, no, sit, like trying to get me to sit down. But it just like he could just move you. Bro is strong as shit. He's just fucking built like that. But the thing you need to think about after all of this is, so there's all of those facts, and also my dad is shorter than me. My dad is like 5'2", 5'1", I think. Hang on. I'm joking on nothing. But yeah, my dad is like 5'1" or 2. He's fucking tiny. Tiny ass man who has the strength to move fucking mountains and also balance on glass bottles on top of like 5 chairs and 5 other dudes. He's insane. I love giving dad lore because it's just always like, what, huh? Like, have I told you guys this Spider-Man story? I feel like I've said this at least once on stream, but I might have like not repeated it. But this is one of my like core fucking memories. I'm gonna open up, well actually we're gonna be streaming in CSP for a lot of today, so let me go over there. So, because I'm going to be there to show off my files and everything for the art stuff we're talking about. So let me go there and also get rid of the text on screen because that is incorrect. Hang on. Can you blow my mind? Stand up my whole body. Make me sweat. Make me harder. Make me lose my breath. Let me change this overlay. Make me water. Hold on. I gotta rearrange the screen a bit. I'm just gonna turn off my fan soon because it's pissing me off that I can hear it. I don't have my headphones on right now, so I don't know how it is for you guys, but where is chat? There you guys are. Yeah, okay. So this is gonna be my visual representation of this, right? Is I remember this one time, I've definitely drawn this out and told this on stream before. I have like memories of it in my head now, but I remember this one time that my dad came over because my mom and my dad were split up, and my dad came over to stay, to like, you know, babysit me essentially and stay over and visit while my mom was away. And my mom told us that we needed to get stuff from the attic while she was gone. We needed to get down a bunch of Christmas decorations and other big heavy boxes of stuff. The way that my house was built at the time is like the attic. So how do I illustrate a hallway like this? You gotta imagine this like really thin hallway. It's like you can fit one person through it comfortably, but like you have to squeeze in order to get 2 of you through, right? this hallway, and this is like the one upstairs. So rather than a wall here, there's like banister here, and then the stairs go down here, you know, like that's where the staircase is. This is a banister, right? There's stairs here. You get the vision? You get the vision? And this hallway, you know, like there's a bathroom at the end. There's like a door over here or whatever type shit. But so the attic that we needed to get into, the little attic space, was here. This was the only entrance, was this fuck-ass square here. There was this little square opening in the ceiling, and obviously it had like a cover in it. But the way ours worked, you know, some people have those ones where it's like a little handle and you pull it down and it comes down with a ladder or something. Ours, it's like a tile that you have to like reach in and lift out. Like essentially this is the hole. There's a tile inside it that's like this big. Just, well, not that big, but, you know, just like slightly bigger resting on it. So then you have to like put your hands in and push it up and then like pull it out of the hole, right? So that's how ours worked, which was really annoying. So, because you have to like get a ladder, then like, you know, lift that thing up and then like push it. Well, yeah, rather than pull it down, it's more like you push it out inside there is what I mean. You'd like push that out inside of the attic and then you can climb into the hole. There's no steps. I know the tile ones. Yeah. And it's a kind of tall ceiling, but it's a little bit awkward, especially because the thing is, my mom left this to us, but my mom was the tallest one out of the three of us. Because there's me, there's I say I'm 5'3", but I was a kid at the time, so I was but a little cow at this time. Why am I drawing myself like that? I never draw myself like that. This is more accurate. There we go. There's little old me looking at it. And I'm a tiny little baby. Like, not actually a baby. I was probably like 10 or something, but I certainly was not 5'3" yet. So I was itty bitty. And then there's my dad, who, let's draw him in orange. There's my dad standing and looking up at this. He liked to wear shades a lot, so I'm gonna put him in those. And my dad is fucking 5'2". And also, like, my dad, I should mention, his, like, joints and stuff are all fucked up. Maybe this is from being an acrobat when he was younger, and then he, like, got into, like, he was a builder for a bit after that, once he became, like, a normal person eventually. But so, like, we both, like, I'm a child, he's got issues, we're fucking tiny, we've got to get all the way up there. And I should say, as well, along with the banister, I need to give extra context, there is also, like, a bookshelf thing here, maybe, like, this tool, sorry, this perspective is ass, like this tool, like it only came up like a little bit over the banister, yeah, just like maybe that high. But yeah, there was like a bookshelf on that side, this little thin thing. There was like just door over here. We got to get up there. And so I was like, okay, Dad, let me go get the ladder. I'll have to go get it. And he was like, no, Emmy, it's fine. And I'm like, fuck you mean it's fine? No, I'm gonna go get the ladder. We have one in the shed. And he's like, no, you don't need to go out. You don't need to go out to the shed. You don't need to go out. And I'm like, what, brother? Okay, Dad, I'm gonna go out to the shed. I'm gonna go get the ladder. So I go downstairs. I hurry on out to go get our ladder. The issue with the ladder is even then, like, it's kind of awkward because like I used to get one of my friends who was taller to go on it, but the ladder only went like maybe like this high, not all the way. So someone who's long would have to stand and then like put their feet on there and then lift themselves up and climb in. So it's not that great. It was like half a ladder. But yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go get the ladder, Dad. I'm gonna go. I went down the stairs, went outside, went and got the ladder. And I went to do that, shuffled around in the shed for it, and came back. And then when I fucking came back, what do I see? But my dad, in fact, indeed, not leading the ladder. He climbed up on here. There was like 1 foot on I think there was a fucking box or some shit on here. That he had a foot on. So my dad's here. In the middle of the thing like fucking Spider-Man. 1 foot on here. 1 foot just on the wall. Like just straight up raw on the fucking wall. No, nothing he's leaning against. No foothold. Just on the fucking wall. With his hands in there. His head up looking in there. And he's pulling down like fucking suitcases that are like the size of him or the size of me. Over his head. Yes, and I'm being dead serious. I wish I was exaggerating this. And he just like pulls down fucking suitcases that are like this size. And then I'm just looking up at him. I come back, fucking ladder in hand like an idiot. Where the fuck did I put the little Emmy? I come back, ladder in hand, like a little idiot who expected to have to climb up there like normal people. And I'm just looking at him and I'm like, what the fuck? How the fuck are you doing that? And he's like, Emmy, take this. And I'm like, fuck you, man, take this. And he just like passes the shit down. Mortals can't fly. I know, it's insane. He was just Spider-Maning it. He just Spider-Man that shit. This is why I call it the Spider-Man story. He just fucking did that. So he just like, hang on, let me erase this. He'd just be like, here you go, Emmy, take this. And then just like pass the fucking suitcase that was like my size down. And I'd be like, what, okay. And take it from him and then put it down. And he just kept doing that. He just kept doing, I didn't even end up using the fucking ladder. He didn't need it. I think he jumped down at the end when he was done. So that's my dad lore. And I like to think personally that my dad is a lot of why I'm like this. Because to be real with you, my dad wasn't in a lot of my life growing up, you know, kind of turning into an alien separates you from people a little bit. But like, I got a lot of genes from him. I'm glad you love my Stickman refer of my dad. Also, hi, Sassy. I got a lot of genes from him, including shit like this. I think what I got from him is his audacity. That's the best way I can put it. That's what my dad gave me. My dad gave me like 3 things. One of them is his audacity, one of them is his height, and the third one is just that I'm black. Like I'm gonna keep my phone on for a little bit longer. Because I think this must have left an impression on me because I've always done well, not that. I'm not fucking Spider-Man like that. But I do the same sort of shit of climbing everywhere. Like as a kid, you know, I was always short. So if I was in like our fucking kitchen or something and say we had like, you know, a counter here with some shit on it, and there's like a cabinet up here with something that I need to get, like my mom told me to get like a plate or something, or maybe we're out of dishes, I need to go get something from there, and then you get little baby Emmy who looks up at it from like here, and I'm looking, and I look at him and he looks at me, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get on that shit. And I just find a way to climb up. I'd balance on fucking anything to climb up and get somewhere and drag like a whole pan that was like heavy as shit down from there. And I still do that to this day. Or like, I often, it's just like, if I think I can do something without needing to go get someone else or get some help, I will do it. So now I think about that, I definitely fucking got that from him. It's totally his influence. Seeing him do shit like this must have been what made me like that. Because that's the same thing he did, where he was like, no, I don't need a ladder. He could have gotten a ladder. Like, it wouldn't, I went to get the ladder. He could have waited for that. But he's like, no, I don't need to though. And then went this stubborn way, which I'm sure was fucking tiring, mind you, but no. Or like I do the same with whenever I'm putting up Christmas decorations. Like in a place we lived before, there's like we had really fucking tall windows, right? So how do I illustrate this? You gotta imagine there's like this is the floor, and then there's already like wall here, and then like window tall as shit, long ass window, and we're gonna say this is the window frame up here. Tall fucking window. Like for scale, let's put an Emmy like this is too short. I also made my head really wide here. Let's put an Emmy like here, sure. And what I do is I'd be like, I think it would be nice to put a bunch of tinsel and lights up here. I want to hang them up there and then down this way. And it's like, Emmy, do you want a ladder for that? Do you want a thing for that? And I'm like, no. There's a windowsill. And it's like, fuck you mean there's a windowsill? There's like barely, it's not even as wide as my feet, to be honest. Like it's maybe if I was stood entirely sideways, I could bounce my feet on there, but it is not. I have to be on my tiptoes. But I, just to get some Christmas decorations up, will indeed climb all the way up there and then stand there like fucking, it's dangerous as shit when I do this. I can feel myself wobbling. Stand there. There's nothing to like grip on at the top really either, because that is also like 2 centimeters wide. So I will stand there with my feet like barely perched on the edge, and then like my fucking arms like flat against the wall because there's nothing else to do there, and then reach up. Well, I drew myself too short here. I'm like the size of the window, you gotta imagine. And then just reach up and put the shit up there and pray that I don't fall backwards, because why would I fall backwards? I can just do it. I don't need a ladder. I don't need a ladder. Have I fallen off something? I don't think I've fallen off anything to the point of injury while doing anything like this, because I think I would remember that. Like, the first time I ever, like, I've broken a bone like once in my life, and that wasn't even doing some stupid shit like this. Or like I had a yeah I think I've only broken a bone like once. I think I might have fractured something once before that, because I think when I was a kid there was one time that I fell off a trampoline that we had, and then like I fractured something, but otherwise, the first time like I ever broke a bone was when I was in a drama lesson at school, and I jumped off like not even something high. It was just like these tiny little like little table-y things that are like you'll like, this is where you stand next to them. But we had some that were like a little bit taller. I think it would have been like this tall for me, the one that we were at. And I like, cause they're just made to like make steps and everything in plays and stuff. And I like hopped off one of those and I landed a little bit wrong, and then I broke a bone in my foot, and that was it. Otherwise, nah, I'm just goated. I just lock in. I've got the same fucking stubbornness as him. What can I say? That's what I mean. I've got the audacity. If I can do it, then I don't need to get something else. I think I can do it, therefore I will do it. And I just get so stubborn about it that I will. It's like, I think I said as well before that like a lot of my family are very stubborn, or I've also had a lot of family members who had like anger issues and stuff, and I generally don't. In fact, my issue is that I'm bad at getting angry a lot of the time. I'm not really great at putting my foot down on anything, or like, you know, standing my ground for a lot of stuff. And it's like, I can get really angry at stupid stuff sometimes. Like, I can get all of that I have directed into like technology. Like, if a piece of software isn't doing what I want it to do, I will be fucking raging. But if a person isn't doing what I want it to, I'll be like, okay, sure. However, like, I think I took that trait that that runs through my blood and instead just translated it into this type of audacious stubbornness, because it's like, I will get stubborn about things that are entirely to do with myself. When it's just me, then it's like, nothing can fucking stop me, and I will fight with myself until the shit is how I want it. You know what I mean? Like, so that's why, you know, I can't fucking rest with anything like this until I've gotten it done. It's like, if I see something I can get done, I will get it done. You don't need to help me. So just always. But yeah, I don't think I've fallen off stuff like this much. I don't have any memories of falling off a counter or anything like that when I do this kind of thing, or off like a windowsill. And I think if I did, then I would remember, because most of the places that I remember doing this would have been really bad if I did fall, you know? I used to also, this is partially also because I used to, a lot of the times when I was younger, my mom would forget to, like, when I was a kid, my mom often just straight up wouldn't lock the door. And we were fine because we lived in the middle of nowhere. You know, we're little cows on a farm. You don't really have much you need to lock the door from, except from bugs. But my mom often wouldn't lock the door, but then often when she did, she would forget to tell me, or would like do it and then forget that I was like at school and she was coming home later than me or something like that, or forget to give me keys, or I would forget mine. And, you know, ADHD runs in the family. So I often had to climb in our windows to get inside. And I think that was part of where I learned this shit. I was also just small in general and had a lot of siblings and stuff, and it's like, you know, I was a fucking cow getting up and all such stupid shit. You have to learn weird ways to climb to get around everywhere. So I often ended up finding ways to like climb on fucking anything and get any fucking foothold on a wall in order to get inside through a window and throw myself in. And I think that's probably part of how I figured out how to land any time that I was getting off something as well. Because I'd have to drop myself inside. Stubbornness is powerful, honestly. Exactly. Because apparently strategically surrounded myself with friends who are bad at getting angry. Yay! Now everything will be peaceful. But yeah, like I got this audacity from him, and that's some dad lore. He's an acrobat. I'm drinking some of my cold water. It's not cold water, it's cold Fanta. But it's certainly cold. And I like that. Okay, so once I need to take my vitamins as well. I said I was going to do that while we were doing my skincare. We're being healthy today. I kind of need to moisturize my hands too, but then I won't be able to do anything because all my stuff will get greasy. Let's take a vitamin together, chat. I've got yummy multivitamins. They are raspberry and pomegranate flavored. Yummy. Oh, they are getting melted in my warm room. Less yummy. Yummy. Okay, you will survive any apocalypse. I will. Because I can also just kind of MacGuffin shit out of anything, I think. MacGyver. That's the word. If you see a cow doing sick flips through the air, I know it will be. Yeah, exactly. And it's got to be the tiniest cow, remember, as well. Because my dad is fucking teeny weeny weeny. What was I gonna say? Oh, the apocalypse thing. Yeah, because it's like one of the stories I also think I've told before on stream to explain how stubborn I am is the way that I put up the shelf in my room, because I have this big shelf in my room that has most of my like a display of figures and dolls and everything on it. It's like, I would say the width of it is like my full arm width, you know, like if I'm standing like this, then like that's how wide the shelf is, right? But so when we first moved in, there was one where we didn't have all my furniture. It took a while for us to get it all with the movers and everything. It's a little hard to get things out of a spaceship, you know. It took a while longer for us to have my furniture than like Neri's, and then when I eventually got mine, it's like I finally got my stuff together, and then I had everything up. I sorted out my bed and everything. There's bookshelves that I had, but I wanted to put my figures and dolls and everything up. I wanted to put up my display because I just had all of my stuff in boxes, and I had the shelf. I just didn't have like, you know, a drill, or I was like, yeah, I guess I'll ask like one of my like, I don't know, maybe my brother-in-law or something to come over with a drill, or like get something, or like I don't know, some shit to put it up, or get someone who's good at this. And I was like, one day I was looking at it, and I wanted to just display my dolls so bad that I was like, you know what? What if I just do it? Like, what's stopping me? It fits on this wall. I only need it this high. I can reach that high. I have a single screwdriver. I have the nails. I can just do it. And so I did. It was very difficult, but I did it. Like, I'm pretty sure Neri was home as well. He was just asleep. So he just, like, woke up later, and I told him about how I put a shelf up with my head. Because, like, again, like I said, you gotta imagine this is like, let's say shelf is like this. And then the little Emmy Rocky, my hands can reach about like fucking this far on it. And let's say my big old head is here. This is what I'm working with. Can you blow my mind? Set up my whole body. This is what I'm working with putting up the shelf. And I just kind of decided to simply do that. Mind you, it has 3 different places it has to attach. Like, it has to go like here, and then here, and then here, and there's 2 screws in these parts, and also 2 that are like in the top there that I had to get into the shelf, that you have to, like, you know, drill into it. And I had 1 screwdriver. I had a stool that I sat myself on for a part of the time while I was here, and I had a dream. That's fucking it. That is literally it. Along with all of the, you know, the nails and shit that I needed. So I would stand like this, fucking hold the thing up with my head. Like, I just held the shelf straight with my head there, and then maybe like my, you know, like my arm here, or like for while I was doing this bit, maybe like my elbow here, so that I could lean over and do the other part, and just like hammer the thing into the wall with a screwdriver first, and then screw it manually the whole fucking time for all like 6 screws that I was doing. So my head hurt a lot. I held the thing up with my head. I banged it at my head when I needed to. I balanced it on there and put up my shelf, and it worked. I got it up. It's a really secure shelf. I've had it for like 2 years now, and it's really nice, and it's really pretty, and it looks awesome. But yeah, Neri woke up later, and he was like, what, are you good? And I was like, yeah, I put a shelf up with my head. And he's like, what the fuck do you mean you put a shelf up with your head? And I was like, I put my shelf up. He's like, didn't you need a drill for that? And I was like, yeah, we have a screwdriver. I did it with a screwdriver. And he's like, how? With my head. I like to simply do shit. It is so warm. Oh my gosh, it needs to be less warm in here. I may, before we get properly into the gap, I may really quickly run downstairs and get some more ice, because I definitely need more ice in my water, because it is really hot in here, and I can't like open a window or anything because I'm streaming, but also because it's hot outside, so opening a window won't make it any better. So I am gonna like BRB for like 2 fucking seconds. Your head is very padded, yeah, but not so much when it's being squished on by a weight like that. It is a heavy ass shelf. I am going to just for like two seconds, just so that I can fill my cup with ice, so that I will not overheat and die in here, but also so that I don't need my fan blowing directly into my mic the whole time. I'm going to put you on BRB screen for a sec, because there's nothing to look at on here. Yeah, I put up a shelf in my head. I'm sure I've told this story before. Yeah, I'll BRB for like 2 seconds to get some ice. While I'm gone, What should I ask you guys? I've told you guys a lot of silly stories. You know what, actually, if I was in some kind of apocalypse, what do you think I'd be like? That's my question for you while I BRB. I'll BRB for like 2 seconds. I just need to get some ice. I will be right back. Also, as usual, the funniest answers are best. Hello, I'm back. Hello, hello, hello. You'd be like Zombieland Saga Season 2 when they put on performance tunes after living. True! True! I would fucking love that. I love Zombieland Saga. I want to be Zombieland Saga. If we ever get in a zombie apocalypse, I will do that. Both as a, human. Both as a survivor and as a zombie. I will do it. I will fucking do it. Okay. Okay. So today we're yapping about art stuff. Yay! Yippee! Yippee! Yeah, today, this is just a Zatsu to chat in general. I just want to yap with you guys because I miss chatting with you guys. But part of what I'm going to chat about is all of the stuff that I've been up to. I've been up to so many fucking things. I've done a billion things. And I'm going to show you guys the things and then talk about all the things that I've been doing with the things. Yay! Because I've been doing like offline work for a while, you know. Hang on. There we go. Because I've been doing a lot of offline work for a while, especially because I was like sick for a long while and I had to like stop streaming and everything. So I've been focusing on all kinds of like art and everything that I've been doing in the meantime. And I've had a billion different projects released recently. So we're going to talk about all of them. The main things I want to talk about today. We will talk about, I think we could talk about Nightcall a little bit. I put that in the thumbnail. Wow, I should type this out instead. I'm not writing on a CSP with my mouse. We can talk about Nightcall, which was a 𝘆cie𝘂𝗿 fan project that I was in, thanks to my very awesome friend Marmedo, of a cover of Nightcall from Drive by Kavinsky. Yeah, I think I got that right. We can talk about my Cosmic Collective rival. Don't ask why this is an impact font, by the way. My Cute Cosmic Collective rival, an original song that I was involved in for Multiverse Vistas, the Honkai Star Rail art contest that they do yearly. We have Intergalactic Disco cover to yap about, and we have Daijobu Mr. Blue Sky. Was there anything else that dropped recently of mine? I've been doing other stuff offline that isn't out yet, but I think those are all the like things, right? I think those are all the things. Are those all the thingies and the things? Wait, let me go check my own channel. Hold on. I need to look at all the shit that I've posted. I've got Girls in Bikinis by Poppy stuck in my head and I have no idea why. Like the other songs I got stuck in my head like water, I understood because they were playing on Spotify Shuffle for me earlier. But I don't know why Girls in Bikinis is there. Maybe it's because of the new Holodori event that started today. Girls in bikinis on roller skates in outer space. I see girls in bikinis in platform heels and new Hot Wheels. Girls in bikinis, ooh. Slow down my Lamborghini for. It's such a fucking banger. Very sapphic of it. Yeah. Maybe I should cover it. I need a bikini. It's crazy that I don't have a bikini. I don't have a bikini outfit. I need to lock in. I need to lock in and make a summer outfit. Where's my work I did playlist? I need to check everything that I've been up to because I forgot. Okay, yeah, that is all the recent things. Cool. Okay, so let's talk about these. What I wanted to, we'll probably go backwards in order because I want to talk first about Daijo Mr. Blue Sky. Do I have my art for it? I can show it off. I'm very happy with it. I have been yapping about this art or like vaguing about it a lot of the time when I talk to you guys on stream. Because Daijo Mr. Blue Sky, for those of you guys who don't know, let me get a little preview of it. Was a very cool project that I was in, which was a fan project led by a whole bunch of other scythe kicks, which are fans of Doppio Drop Scythe from Niji Sanji Ien's 7th Wave XLA to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of his original song Daijo Mr. Blue Sky, and also his birthday originally, although it was we ended up with a little off from that. And I was in that. I was a vocalist, specifically on the rap side of it. So I had a couple rap lines. Don't mind me disappearing. I need to grab something. Hang on. There we go. Yeah, I was a vocalist. Specifically, I was a rapper at the start. And I also did 2 different art sections. I'm going to show those. I'm going to end up having to mute these parts of the stream later, but it's okay. Because I just want to show stuff off to you guys today. What is a window that I can use here? Nylon spandex, dear Lord, what's next? A cup, B cup, get me love, don't cover up. Slow down my Lamborghini for girls in bikinis. Okay, hang on. On roller skates in outer space, I see. To drink more ice water so I can turn my fan off. Girls in bikinis. Girls in bikinis. Okay. Let's looky. I'll have to turn the BGM off. Let me crop this as well. I wanna see boys in bikinis too. They look good on you. Which one is that? That's the one. There we go. Okay. So this is Divisive Mr. Blue Sky. I've got so many audio inputs on here. Oh my god. Hang on, I need to move all my shit around. There we go. Okay. I think you guys can hear that. I need to turn it down a little bit. I will not show all of this because I don't want to show off everyone else's work and also get myself copyrighted into hell. But oh, my BGM is still on. But this is the why can I still hear it? There we go. The part I did is second vocally. Here it is. Here's me. And this is my art as well for this part. So that's the little rap vocal I did there, and I also did an art piece that is at the end of this because it was a whole big project with a whole bunch of sidekicks with like, yeah, we had like, how many in total? There's a big list. We had like, what, like 20 different artists or something? Yeah. And 30 or so people total, covering his song all together. It was a really good, really cool organization to have all these different voices on it and everything. And they planned out a whole storyboard. They planned out a storyboard with all kinds of different art for everyone to do. And then all the artists kind of got free reign to interpret that how they wished. But with different stuff, you know, recognizing all of his memories and songs he's created and special moments we've had together, or just cute things showing off all of the Doppio core and everything that makes the Doppio Drop Size channel. And here is my second art for this part again. Hallelujah, Mr. Blue Sky. With everyone's messages over the top, and here it is. There it is. Okay, my friends, in my mind, hallelujah, Mr. Blue Sky. But yeah, so I did that vocal bit at the start, and I did the art that I like a lot. I've been vaguing about this art so much because it's one of the ones that I was doing on some of our work streams as well, actually. There's been a lot of work streams that I spent on this art, and I'm okay with that because I'm really happy with it. It's some of my favorite art that I've done. I'm not gonna fucking lie. I really like it. I really like the colors. Do you guys like it? Do you guys like it? I've been wanting to do art more like this for a long time, actually. And I say this, but like, I have done art like this in regards to like a billion colors, but just not quite as fully as this. Honestly, doing it was a really great exercise to sort of like rework how I think about drawing. Because there were a lot of things here that kind of broke the rules that I usually follow. Like, in the last like year or so, I've been trying more to like draw on top of my line art and not let line art be like a perfectly defined thing that can never be changed, because I really like doing pretty line art. Everyone knows this. That's part of why my line art is generally kind of thick. I like making it like really clean and pretty, and it's gotten to the point that often my sketches are actually like, especially when I'm giving them to someone else, end up so clean that it's just line art itself, and I've spent like a billion extra time on it. But it also means that like sometimes I spend so much time on that then even though it looks pretty, by the time I get to coloring, it like limits what I can do there. So I tried more with this to like be a little looser in the lines part, especially because I didn't actually use my usual pen. I used the Milli pen for a lot of it, which makes it kind of like, you know, shaky in little places, and then like draw over it wherever I felt like for the sake of colors and rendering and everything, or just any time that I wanted to change or fix anything. And also made a point of not holding myself to every single pixel having to be perfect, because there's plenty of places here that there's like, you know, you can see these little random loose pixels out of place, or you can see how I've scribbled over parts of like this, you know, with the different like colors and stuff here. Like, you can see that I'm drawing over my shit. You can see little parts where it's just, like, drawn straight on top, or where it, like, doesn't fully line up and fill the space. But that doesn't matter, because when you look at the whole thing, it, like, looks cool still, right? And that's something I really had to like teach myself. I really had to learn with myself. Like all this stuff, usually with the way that I usually draw and with a lot of my shit, I would never let little pixels like this. I would never let this look like that. I would be so much more precise and ruled about it. But I think letting yourself be loose is A, way more fun. B, it means that it becomes, you get more creative because you're not holding yourself back just by stress of things having to be correct, but rather of them looking the way that you want to and feeling the way you want to. And C, it's like, it just has a whole different feel to it. It's cooler. It's cooler. Like, because when I did the background, I did a lot of that with like ruled lines and everything in order to get the perspective right. But then I went over like pretty much every single thing to like freehand it later. And that is what made it look so nice and gave it like the texture and the shape that I want. Because that's what brought life to it. Like you can see with the gifts here, I drew them originally with like a ruler with perspective in mind. And then I went over them all to give them a little more lumpiness and a little more jaggedness. And that's what made them come to life. Yeah, it's cute. Yeah, I'm glad you think so. Anyway, I like the colors in this a lot. Because this is a piece of 𝘆cie𝗂𝗿 from 𝘆cie𝗂𝗿 and 𝘆ecie𝗂𝗿 and Vermilion from Niji-Sanji Yen's 7th Wave XLA. And also 𝘆ecie𝗂𝗿𝗿 from Hollow Stars English. Fuck, which gen is he in? Wait. 𝘆ecie𝗂𝗿𝗿 from Hollow Stars, English, Tempest. I knew that. I totally knew that. I totally said that the first time. I knew that. Yeah. But yeah, because that is 𝘆cie's best friend and a whole bunch of sidekicks. And I plan to do a whole bunch of more stuff with this as well. I need to find the background on its own. I wonder if I still have the files of it. Yeah, because I did the background first. And this is one of the first times I've drawn a background in like ages as well. Especially one this precise. I really like how the colors and textures came out for this. I spent so long doing the background. It stressed me out actually a lot. There was like one night where I was sat up at night trying to figure out how to do this perspective that I want. And I was like near fucking tears. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like this thing looks so simple in hindsight, but I was like near fucking tears trying to get it to work the way I want and trying to understand how to use perspective rulers in CSP with like multiple point perspective like this and get all of the shapes right. And I was like, ah! I was so fucking stressed out, but I ended up really liking doing it once I got it down and doing the colors and everything. And it's fun to just do a more background like this because I don't do it very often. I need to do it more. But yeah, it's based on P.O.'s Arcade. And you can also see even here what I mean about how it's like originally, I'll have to find the original lines and sketch and stuff for more of this. But originally, you know, this was very precisely lined and very thin, even lines and everything to place everything right. Like I had the rulers going straight across from all of these parts so that they joined up to make sure that they were in line with each other. And then I went over like everything to then freehand it on purpose. And that's what gives it like the texture that I really like and makes it, you know, match with everything else. And it just looks fun. It looks nice. And these colors are really fun. It's really fun to experiment with color like this where almost everything is saturated. Because like there's almost like never a point in this image where the saturation goes like any lower than like 50. It's all real fucking high. Which I don't always recommend. A lot of the time, you can get your images colorful without staying in that eye bleeding zone, and that's usually what you want to do. I generally try to stray from it a little bit, because then it gives you more room to add extra saturation if you want to add more to a piece without having to take it away from something else. I tend to start more in like this kind of area for things that are quote-unquote saturated, so that then I can use this as an accent if I really, really need to, and make something pop. But also, I noticed in the past, like in the past, I kind of tended to hold myself back with colors as well. Because even though I wanted to be colorful and I did a lot of designs that were technically colorful, my stuff looked really gray at the end of the day. Because something that I started doing at first. Like, first of all, a lot of the time I don't draw on a totally white background when I start. You'll notice that on things like this. Like mine is technically slightly gray. This is partially for the color thing that I mentioned. It can be helpful sometimes to not draw on flat white because then you'll start with, you won't like... How do I put it? You won't feel like your colors need to be the highest saturation possible in order to pop. Because when they're against a background like this, then it's like, I don't need this in order for it to look bright red. I am already bright enough with just this. Like, that looks bright red. And it still looks entirely bright enough to anyone else. But it's little tricks that you don't just immediately use fullest saturation and make everything eye bleeding, and it gives you room to use that later more purposefully. But I used to, in the past, make this like way too gray. I think it's because I started when I was drawing some character design that had like a bunch of white in it. So I put it down like here. And then I was always drawing on that. And then when you take my images out of their original context, then they started looking really sad. And then after that, I got like too worried in my head about using full saturation stuff. And eventually recently I was like, you know what? Why not? Like, I can just do that. If I want to, I can just do it. And I really like it. I need to find one day, because there was a time in the past where I like made a point of changing this around for myself and started doing like color tests where I would just blotch colors on in like, I'd pick like 3 super saturated colors, slap them on a page, and then just mess with them until I liked something. And then I started realizing that's where I started learning how to color like this. And I love coloring like this, where like half of the way that I color is not by changes in like the value much, but mostly just in the colors themselves. I'm just realizing this image has a layer turned off. Wait, is it turned off in the fucking final thing as well? It is! Ah! There's a part missing. It makes barely any difference, but I'm just realizing there's a fucking part missing. Because there's meant to be, there's streamers in the top of the picture. There's streamers that go over here, like this. And they complete it as a party scene. Fuck! Oh my god! And it's in the fucking MV, and I posted it like that! Wait, hang on, I need to open my iPad and find it. Oh my god, I'm so pissed off. It doesn't actually matter that much because, like I said, it's a very minor thing, and I even took them out a few times when I was drawing it because I wasn't sure. But I think they've really fully completed it, and I can't believe I didn't put them in. How did I turn that layer off? Where is it? Where even is it? Oh my god, there it is. Fuck! Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. Dude, I knew it. I was staring so hard at the fucking empty space in the top above the arcades before because I was like, I swear, like, that feels so empty. I swear I did something to get rid of that. I did. But that's what the fucking streamers were for. Oh my god. Oh my god. There's even 2 versions of it because I initially had the streamers and then I moved them to see if I could make the faces more visible. Fucking hell, bro. Because I was about to say that I loved drawing those streamers. They're a great example of the color thing I was about to mention. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm gonna send them to myself and then you guys can see them in a sec. That's fucking crazy. Bye. That's crazy. I can't believe I didn't notice. Something actually missing is Nightmare Star. Oh yeah, no, exactly. Oh my god. Oh my god, man. In my mind, how did you miss the blue sky? Hi. I just realized that this piece from a fan project I was recently in, I sent it off with this is the final version. This is not the final version. It's missing a thing. I drew little like decorations of streamers in the top of the image, and I did not notice until now that they're fucking missing. Look, here they are. Look, it's meant to be like that. You see what I mean? It's a tiny thing, but it completes the fucking image. It's fine anyway. Like, it's not the end of the world because it looks good like this, but this is what like finishes it. But yeah, the streamers I originally placed there, and then I also made a second version like this because I felt like it was covering up 𝘆cie𝘂𝗿 too much, but I like it either way. I don't remember which one I decided for my final thing because I didn't want it to cover up his hat. Because, you know, it's like a little birthday party hat. Or is that okay? But yeah, it's meant to be like this. There we fucking... Oh, God. It's okay. I'll repost it on Twitter sometime just to flex it. Because the original post that I did talking about it had the animation part I did in as well. So I'd like to post this in, like, full view because it's one of my favorite pieces I've done. But anyway, what I was going to say was I really like lately, I've gotten really into using color like this. And using color sometimes, like hue shifts, hue changes and stuff in place of much change in, like, tone and saturation. Meta chameleon you know what, that would be really funny to add here. I've seen a lot of people doing that lately where they add like a little meta chameleon character hidden in there somewhere. This would be a great piece for that. But yeah, like you can see here how I find it really fun using all these changes in color without actually changing much in saturation and like the value, like the tone. I think it's so fucking fun. I love experimenting with colors this way. It's my favorite way to draw. So I'm going to start doing it more and more often because I've always wanted my art to be like this. This is what's most fun to me. And I think it's really fun with an image like this. Part of the way... I don't know how to explain it for this one when it has so many colors in, but part of the way that you make it work, in my experience, is to like limit your range of hues by even just a little bit, and then you get to play around entirely within those. Like for this one, you know, it's all comes unified even though it has a billion colors because I have like my main colors and where I use them, and like my main colors and where and how I use them, I guess is a better way. And then some hues that I won't touch. Like you'll notice that in this image, there is literally never a full green. There's never pure green. And even though 𝘆cie is red, which was really fucking hard to me, there is never actual red. And there is almost never an orange either. Because these colors, see, they clash. They clash with everything else in here. It's really meant to be focused. I built it around this pink color. Because this is like, you know, this magenta is 𝘆cie𝘂𝗿. 𝘆cie𝘂𝗿 is magenta. So then I went off a bunch of harmonious colors to that. I have like free reign for all kinds of purples and blues and stuff. And then 𝘆cie also has like yellow in his design, and I picked a really, really lime yellow instead of an orange one. Yeah, no orange, it's you. I picked a really, really lime yellow instead of an orange one. I think this is the warmest other color that we have in there, which is like really pale for the sidekicks. So I wanted them to stand out a little bit, but then that means that I shade them with the yellow, and something I do. So, you know, like I have these colors picked here. Most of it is really harmonious with this. Like there's some dark colors like that. Everything that is black, I instead drew in purple, and that's actually our least saturated color, which will bring me to a point in a sec. Yeah, it's like all purples. There's literally never even black in it. I like to avoid black in my designs when I can. I think at most there's a little bit gray here, but it's still purple. And yeah, so some pro tips is I don't often like think about these things in a way that I put in words. It kind of just becomes instinct over time. But when you're figuring out a piece like this, is the way to make it colorful is, again, to limit what you do and then give yourself room to play around entirely in the middle. Like I said, you know, I cut out all reds, greens, and oranges. They are not welcome here. That sounds like we don't take candy to your can around here. But yeah, there's no reds or greens or oranges in here. Everything is meant to focus around magenta and colors that match with it. We have a contrasting one in the yellows, but that is staying away from that zone of orange. I cut this whole zone like out for myself. The yellow is allowed to be really lime, and then we go straight to cyan. There's no green in between. And what I did is, like, you kind of get, how to put it, like a main color palette of the things that you use where. So like we have all of our magentas and hot pinks and everything that are going to be a lot of the bulk of the image. These are most important because they're a 𝘆cie. So those are a lot of your like mid-tones. And then I like to pick in a lot of these things one key high contrasting color at like full saturation to use to highlight everything. So you'll notice that in this shade of yellow, this like super fucking neon, slightly limey yellow, that it like every time it's there, it is exactly that shade. And I use that as a highlight for everything, which is why the sidekicks actually have their own like peachy color. It's not peachy, it's just like creamy. Like this little yellow is a little bit paler and warmer, but then everything gets highlighted in this. This is the brightest color that we have in the image, because there's actually like pretty much never white as well. There is white here, but I didn't want white to be my highlight color, you know? Instead, I pick a highlight color, which is yellow. Yellow is our super bright lighting color, so that I get to use the whites for all of this stuff and still make everything feel bright and warm, especially because it pops entirely against this. I always try to pick one that is a big contrast from everything else, like almost opposite of the color wheel. And 𝘆cie helps because he kind of has like a pan flag color scheme because he has like cyans in him, which is what I like using as well, which is why this works great for me because it's my favorite color palettes to use. But if you pick like there's a word for this when you make like a triangle. I'm just gonna call it a triad, but there's also a longer word, like a triad color scheme. Because then I also picked like a cyan blue to use consistently for everything as well. This shade right here, which is used for a lot of the other highlights. But as like an offset to this one, you know, like how do I put it? Like this limey color is like the big bright light you have on everything. That's like the main light, like right here. It like hits on everything that's like super harsh. You can almost imagine that the lights are in that color. And then it's like the little colors that bounce off of it to the side after that light is like this. Instead of it, you know, being like a normal room that would be lit like this and then maybe get like a slightly darker orange. You get like this as the tone gets a little bit cooler. Does that make sense? You know, like there's like you can see it here, with like the light bouncing on both of these things here in like this big bright color, and then it's just like right off of it where it's still bright, but more of like a little like natural bounce. It's in the cyan. But using those together and picking like two like super contrasting colors that you can use together for your lighting accents like this, like right here, makes everything look really bright without you having to do like any fucking blend layers. Like there is not, I don't think there's like any layers of like multiply or add or hard light or shit like that. There's like no blending modes used. It's just the colors on their own. Because I like using those sometimes. For this, there was like none of them. I just use the colors flat. Because if you just use color contrast really well, then it helps a lot with this. Like for these, it's like I said here, you know, you get this like really bright shine that looks like lighting just from having these together, even though these are basically the exact same value. The blue is like faintly, slightly darker than this by like, you know, like 2 fucking decimals. But they contrast, and that gives you this effect of like super bright, cool lighting without actually having to use anything crazy. And then in line with that, I always pick, when I start this kind of thing, what my darkest color will be and then never go lower than it. I'm gonna turn my fan on again for a little bit. Like for this, I have this shade of like a purple black that I use for the line art, right? And when I want something to be this colorful, I do not touch the color black. like ever. I avoid the color black when I'm doing this thing. Me, art good, yeah. And to be fair, these tips I'm giving at the moment aren't super like formally worded. It's probably going to be a little bit of a mess, but I just like yapping about my experience because then sometimes it helps people. Teacher Emmy, yeah. But yeah, when I want something colorful like this, I do not touch the color black, or at least I do not touch this. This little row of everything being gray is your enemy. Never, never. At least not in this kind of piece. Because the second you add a fully neutral tone, it just like throws everything off. And I don't like anything to hit full black in darkness either, because I want everything to feel like it's all glowing. Because like you'll see even here, you know, once I put full black in, it kind of like kills everything else a bit, you know, it takes it away, it contrasts with everything. In order to be harmonious, you want to pick a color that is in line with like your main one. So in this case, I usually pick a purple or blue. In fact, most of my art is lined in a dark purple or blue, and even like you can even see in me, in my little two-dimensional form, that none of my lines are black. Yeah, I usually pick a dark purple or blue. In this case, I picked like a little indigo purple right there. And then I refuse to let anything get darker than it. So I will change other colors in order to be lighter, in order to make sure they can stay above that. Because then you can keep your line color consistent and then color on top of everything else, but also always have a darkest color so you can like, how do I put it? It means that you get to have corners like this where everything fades. I need to get it like corners like this where everything fades into darkness, or like here, without like having to make anything battle for attention. I don't know if that makes sense. Like bringing everything to one unified point of its darkest color really helps balance out all your shadows so that you can go fucking crazy in the highlights. It's I guess the best way I can put it. That's why like everything that is black in this image is like the same black and then just goes like different lighting on top. Like they all, when I colored them, I did the base colors for these guys, and you can see like this is the same black that she has there for her jacket, and it's the same that he has there for his shirt. Pio is the only one who's slightly different from most of it because his jacket, he had like, you know, black on black here, so you just make one of them bluer. But it's the same jacket, black that he has there. They all have this same like purple desaturated shade here for all of their blacks. Even though they're all in like different outfits with slightly different vibes over them, the base color for the black for all of them is the same, and it is all like this lighter purplish like grayed out thing, so that it is still saturated enough that it won't clash with all the high like neon things we have going on, and is never going to be darker than the one dark color that we chose. I want to make sure that I can shade it in that other color and never get darker. Yeah, like let me get their design references. For example, I actually have, I can show this on my PC. Hang on. I was like locked in on this because, fun fact, I actually originally with this piece intended to draw every single member of Nijisanji and I almost did. I lined almost all of them. I think I was only I was halfway through Crisis for my line art wise, so the only one I had left to line was By the Beat. And I didn't get to coloring anyone other, well, not least finishing coloring and shading anyone other than XLA because a whole bunch of like personal reasons and time and sickness and shit like that. But I really wanted to. So I had all that shit planned out. I'll show the sketches for it later. But on my PC, because I use Vivaldi, which lets me have like workspaces where I can have like different like layouts of my tabs. I had one for like each gen that I was working on, with all of their refs set up there. Like hang on, I'll take another screenshot as well. Like this. So when I was working on each one, I'd pull up this thing. Oh fuck! What? Oh, God damn it! I accidentally got rid of the screenshot. Wait. There we go. Yeah, so when I was working on each one, I would pull up this, like my tabs like this. I press one and it opens like a different set of tabs, and then they'd be like in little stacks. So I have like my Vanta references here with his wiki page, and then also with the ref I was using, and then the Zali one, etc., etc. So I have like all their fucking refs ready to go. I don't have XLA open anymore though, because I think I cleared that one since I was done with that. But let me pull up the rest for all of them. Let me open my window capture. Oh, I forgot to put my BGM back on. Sorry. It's really warm in my room. Ah, my coaster got stuck to my cup. Oh. Where's the thing? There we go. Because when we see them, you'll notice what I was saying about how they all have, like, even though they all have blacks in their outfits, they all have different ones. But if there's anything like that that I can, like, unify together, I like to limit the colors that I start with so that then I can go crazy on the extra colors after. Like, here we go, Doppio Drop Scythe. He has a lot of black on his design, or, like, near black, with, like, his jacket and the shirt underneath. And we have, Meroko Kyorang. For this image as well, I specifically chose to do everyone in like their most casual outfits because I wanted it to feel like they were all like just like hanging out at a party together and also shake things up. And for some of them, it's because that made it easier for myself to draw because I knew I needed to save myself some details. Hers is here. And you can see what I mean here with hers as well, since hers is actually in like a very neutral grays. Hers like piece is kind of warm altogether because she has like this like cream color for her shirt, but then the blacks on her outfit are all like kind of like purple desaturated, but like very soft and dusty compared to the colors that 𝘆cie𝗂𝗿 has. And then vermilion. Ba-bum. Where is the outfit I used for him? This one. These have all like warm tones in there. Like that's a very reddish gray, but then also super neutral. And then 𝘆cie𝗂𝗿. I hope it has the ref because he just dropped this outfit recently. I actually redrew 𝘆cie partway through it because I initially drew him in so the outfit you see him in here is this one. This is not the full reference. There's a version of this outfit without the like the apron on, and that is what I based this. Oh. Yeah, there's a version without the like the apron and jacket on. I need to find it. Let me see if I can find his reference. I'm gonna close this before I open Twitter because I don't trust Twitter. Hang on. Hold on, I gotta get his ref. 𝘆cie𝗂𝗿. Where did he put the ref sheet? There it is. I was worried for a sec that I was like, wait, is this the old version too with the old outfit? But I know it's not. Let me grab this. And then this. And then this. There we go. Okay, so now I can explain the point I was getting at. Sorry if you can hear my fan. Also, we're gonna have to deal with that. It's really warm, and I don't want to get super sweaty because I just had a shower before I started stream, and it's humid. Get rid of all that. Ah, fuck! I killed him. 𝘆cie𝗂𝗿, what fucking void are you in, bro? Okay, yeah, you can see what I mean here because like these guys all have like, you know, designs with blacks in them and then also with a bunch of colors and stuff. And even though I'm drawing a colorful piece, the first thing I do when I want to draw something this colorful is I take colors away. You gotta start with something limited so that then you can add more freely. Because if you just start all out with like every single, we can't hear your fan. Nice. See, the thing is like, so how do I put it? Like, I know that you guys can't just like hear it going in the mic or something, but it does change the audio quality slightly. And like, I can see my mic picking it up on OBS, and that bothers me because I'm like a nerd about the sound, you know? So it's like I have to apologize for my own brain. But anyway, yeah, the first thing that I do when I want to make a piece with a billion colors is I start by limiting myself, actually. I take colors away first, so then I can add more. You want to start with something that is specifically limited to work around the colors you want, and then as you go on, you'll have more freedom and more room to like exercise and play around and add more and more stuff every time. So like, yeah, they all have different colors going on here, even though it is handy that a lot of them have like blacks and then their own like image color. And also 𝘆cie gave me a hard fucking time being this red. But that's exactly why you'll see what I mean about limiting colors. So obviously everything I have is built around 𝘆cie𝗂𝗿. Built around 𝘆cie𝗂𝗿 and turning him into super saturated, super magenta. These magenta colors are my everything. So I wanted one black. I pretty much always actually, when I do, when I am doing things that are like really colorful or a bunch of outfits, black is the first thing that I limit. My blacks and my whites in color palettes are always the first thing that I try to limit down because I think it helps unify a thing a lot if you pick like the one color consistently for those, especially because they're usually going to be like a key contrast or a key like base color and everything that you can create like a consistent or like unique and dynamic how do I put it? Iconic. That's what I want. Iconic art style for something just by having one set color for that stuff. But yeah, so then everything that is black, it all got this shade. I picked a purple that went everything. All of this is all this color now. They all got this purple color, which then meant I had to change all the other colors around it, because you'll see how this is entirely different to all of those. They all have like different shades of black going on, but I unified those from the get-go, which already starts making everything a lot easier to work with, because then they all have this one shade for that neutral tone. So that nothing is ever going to clash in that regard. And then I picked a white color, which is this purple. For that specifically, because I wanted so many contrasting colors everywhere else, I usually, when I'm picking white, it's often either a really bright blue or a really bright like blurple color, like here. For this one, I kept it pinker in the purple shade, because I wanted it almost sort of to like match with this one. It's just like lighter than the black color, so that these two become like our neutrals together, while actually both being like super colors. You know, like these colors match, because it's kind of just that and a brighter version of it, so they become like a little neutral backdrop for everything else, so that the neon colors stand out like a ton. So that's our white for everything. So literally like the blacks and whites, it was all like basically one fucking hue, because you just like raise this up and that's the white color. I picked one hue to be like all of our quote unquote neutral tones, and that's what everyone got. And it is all purple, because I want the main vibe of the piece to be built around purple, so that then I can use all my pinks and my cyans and my yellows and everything and bounce off of them like crazy. But yeah. So everything starts from me limiting that, and then I try and cut down everyone else's colors, but also bring them around to the same sort of like, to be in line with everything else as well. So like I have this super saturated magenta for 𝘆cie𝘂𝗿 for his hair, which meant that for medical, rather than in black here, I gave her a purple shade for her hair, especially because her image color is purple, so I wanted to bring that out more. And this is also part of why picking like, when I pick a color to be black, I, again, don't pick that as black, but you know how I mentioned that I also start with like a line art color, which in this case, I colored some of the line art, so I need to find it. Where is that? I need to move these out the way. Guys, please move. Excuse me, sirs and gentle ladies. I think it's this one. This is the consistent line color, right? I'll remove this. Because there's some places where I colored it anyway, but yeah, like this. So like this is my line art color here, and like nothing goes darker than this or more neutral than this. This is the color that I use for line art. Some lines can get lighter and everything, but I picked that, and nothing is allowed to get darker, which means A, stops me from picking any jet black in the color palettes anyway. And when you want to draw black, this is a tip you'll learn pretty early on, but if you want to draw something black, color it gray and then shade it darker. It's way easier that way than having to make it lighter after. But so I picked my line color, and then since nothing's allowed to get darker than that, that's part of why the color that we're using for black is so light. Because like on its own, this does not look like black. That's purple. But because I know that this is going to be my line color around it, I need to bring the guys back. Because I know this is going to be my line color around it, and I want it to still be able to like be visible on there, and I know that everything else is going to be like fucking neon bright, then I can just trust the process that it will become black in contrast. You can like, when you're using this many bright colors, you don't need the dark ones to be that dark. You want those to actually be kind of normal and kind of like just like balanced out and like in the mid range, so that then your colors can pop without having to like fight for attention. Because if this was like black, then all of these colors would be really hard to look at, because this would be like super high contrast at all times, and then it would like hurt. But instead, what I want, like I said, for my contrast is not based on contrast between the light and dark. For most of it, a lot of it is just contrast between the hues. Like most of these don't get much darker. Even this blue, I'll explain in a sec, is actually the same brightness as those. Most of what I do is contrast between the hues and not between the values here, because otherwise that makes it really hard to look at, because your eyes can't tell where is most important. Or rather, like competing for attention, and it becomes like ice rain. Even though this kind of saturation often is, but you'll get there. That part takes practice. What was I going to say next? But yeah, so I have this one white color for everything, other than a couple places where I wanted to let it be highlighted. And this is part of why you start by limiting it, because since I limited myself in shades of white everywhere by having that one purple, that meant that when I wanted a little bit of pop for 𝘆cie𝘂𝗿, because he's special, he's a special boy, and he has a lot of like extra whites on him, then I could change it up by having a blue shade of white instead, just to give him a little bit more shine. But yeah, and then because everything is so plain in like having this like purple as it's white and everything, and that same one purple as it's black and stuff, then I get to shade, and most of that is just me placing colors. There's barely any shading that's actually based on making stuff like darker and stuff. Like, you know, on the skin, I started with a kind of normal shading, and like you can see here on Meloco's test, there's like a slightly darker purple for that and everything. But then everything, I just take my palette of big colors and go blub, 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 blub. Slap that shit on top, blub, 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 until I'm happy. A lot of that involves me placing a color and then erasing it and then putting it back after, but yeah. And right, yeah, that's what I was gonna say with the color thing. Part of how I make it pop while never actually going darker than the line color or darker than the quote unquote black I use is one of my colors will often be like this shade of blue is this such a great fucking life hack for images like this, especially when they're pink. I love this shade of blue because it looks dark. When you look at it like at first with your eyes, it looks like it's a dark color, but this is it in full saturation and brightness. It is not like dark yet. It's darker objectively than like this. Like, yeah, this is lighter to your eyes, you know, like that's harder to look at than this would be. But this is it at full brightness. And that is so fucking yummy. I fucking love this shade. It's so good to use for things. Same for the purple and stuff that comes right next to it. This is so nice because it's a big bright color, which means you can use it like alongside these kinds of colors and still make everything look like it's like glowing and bright. But also you can like pretend it's a shadow. I use it as like a fake shadow. That's how everything looks like it's glowing, but also gives it contrast between the colors that like pretends there's like a shadow going on. Like here, you know, there's this shadow here for medical, or like this on her hair, or like this on Vera's neck, like down here on the thighs and everything. I use this in all the places where it's like, how do I put it? It's generally where I'd want like a backlight almost, because it's often either in like the very darkest place, like this little corner here, or a place where you'd have something else like glowing instead, like from the darkness. Like, you know, it's like a, yeah, the very darkest points are not even in the darkest color. They're in this bright blue, because then it looks like there's extra light that's glowing for everything. And it just makes everything feel like so much more alive and vibrant. And I get super high contrast here between like the bright colors in this one without ever having to actually put black. And it also helps unite everything, because this blue, I never change the shade for this like ever. It is the exact same blue. I dropped it from each one every single time I used it. So all of these things have this blue as their darkest color, and it makes everything really united. So that they all like, you know, max out at this color. Even on the balloons and stuff like that. Every single thing has this blue somewhere as its darkest points. So then it all kind of like unifies together. And it makes everything have like this nice glow to it. I really like it. It makes it really fun. Oh my gosh. But yeah. So that's colors. Most oh my gosh, why am I choking on air? Hang on. Hola, I need to drink some water. Most of that definitely, you know, doesn't mean much because I was just rambling it as word soup. But yeah, that's some of my rambles about this, because I love drawing like this. I love drawing like this. And I've wanted to ramble about this so long, because if I had streamed this image, I would have been yapping this the whole time, but I couldn't. But that's okay, because honestly, it would have taken me longer to get done if I did it on stream. But those are some of my color rambles. I hope anyone who wanted to draw like this, I hope that worked for any notes. Anyway, MS Paints give you a headache with the colors? No, not really. And I mean, you know that because I talked about them on stream. And even this didn't really give me a headache. I like doing colors like this, because when I'm playing with colors like this, it's like fun to experiment with it, you know? I like the part where it arts, yeah. It's fun to experiment. Part of the fun of doing stuff like this is putting in the colors and then erasing it and then changing my mind later and figuring out the process. That's why I like it. I like giving myself room to mess around like this. And it's kind of over time, a lot of it becomes instinct. Like picking my starting palette of like a white that I want to use for everything and a black I want to use for everything, and then like a, you know, a main color to build it around, is something that becomes pretty instinctual. And then you get to experiment back and forth to figure out the others, and you'll get a hang of it over time. And then it's like, it's really satisfying feeling as you're going through a piece like this, slowly over time figuring out your palette of like all your shiny colors. Because like I said, in the beginning, yes, I had started with like this black for everything and that white that I picked and stuff. Those were all like limited set that I knew. But most of the other colors, like the specific shades I'd use for these like neon ones and everything, I did not figure out those until I was like doing it. Those you get as you go. I need to open up the file on CSP so I can show you guys some more stuff. Hang on. Let me share my screen on my iPad, because I have all the layers and stuff in there and I want to show them off. All the cons I've gotten done. Which one do you say you found the most fun to do? Ooh, interesting. Let me open up the files while I'm getting up my iPad screen share. Hang on. Because I'm not sure which one off the top of my head. One moment. Supernova Supergirl. Hold on, I'm opening up my iPad so I can show you guys the full layers and everything for this, because there's a lot of fucking layers. This is a big ass file, man. Why is it in shit quality? Okay. There we go. Hello. There's my files. But out of yours, hang on, let me look through my folder of art commissions. Art, comms. There's that one with Belts on Kian, there's the Sora one, and then my MS Paint. Probably, honestly, I found the I'm gonna forget all their names right now because they're not on the top of my head while I'm focused on this. But the recent ones, Acid Boy and Dice Boy are very fun. Especially because of the colors I used. And like, and I know Acid Boy gave me a lot of trouble at first, but then I got really into it. And oftentimes a piece that like I have a vision for and then I have to fuck around and find out and then end up experimenting for by the end is most fun. Like sometimes I have fun when I'm doing something I know how to do. And sometimes I have more fun when I'm like experimenting the whole time, you know. I also really liked doing the, yeah, I'm forgetting his name as well. The one that I said looks like Kaito with the tentacles. Tentacles, those were fun to color. Those are very fun to color. But yeah, okay, so here's my file for this shit. I can't believe I intended today to just be like a couple hours of like yapping about everything, but it's been like an hour and a half already, and all I've talked about is this and also my dad. But yeah, here's the file. I've got so much shit in this goddamn file. I don't think I still have the sketch for the background on here, which makes me sad because I wanted to show that off, but I might be able to find it later. And I also have a folder of other junk. Because here's my initial sketch. Here's part of my sketch. When I first did this, I wish I had it still, the image. But I started with a sketch of everything that was like a I started off with a sketch that I wish I could show, where it was like, yeah, there's gonna be like arcade and stuff, and they'll be like hanging out, and they'll be like, yay, and there'll be like people hanging out, and maybe there'll be like a door over here. And I went through like a few different ones, different perspectives and stuff. And then after I had that sketch, I threw in colors because I wanted to figure out the style for this, because I knew I wanted to have really super neon, silly, popping colors as a main thing in order to bring it all together, and also partially because that would help me draw so many people without having to fight for my life in order to make them look unified, you know? Because this is also... like, part of why I like doing colorful things like this is not only because it's cool and I like colors, but also because it can actually make things easier. It can save you some time. Because when I'm limiting everyone from the start, then it means I can make all these different designs look really unified and draw so many different designs without having to stress myself out. Because A, I don't have to fight for, like, all of them having, like, 10,000 different layers of shading in different colors because I have, like, 3 colors that they're shaded in, you know? No matter what their design looks like. And B, I don't have to, like, what was it? Like, it makes it kind of easier to draw them all together, because when I start drawing them all, it's like I know exactly what I'm going to use. And everything can look united, and I don't have to, like, shade them all in different ways that makes them all, like, clash with each other. It makes a lot of that simpler. And looks like they're all intended to be together. But yeah, so then I went over and just like blobbed over everything in colors. This is what I often do when I have a big piece to draw, or when I would need to like figure out a style for something. Like I just like jotted shit over everything. You can see how I'm like scribbling over myself to figure out like the values I wanted and the light and dark and everything, and like these colors for that. And then I made that real big and started lining over that and like testing colors and everything over that. And I don't have a lot of that still on here, but you can sort of see how it retained itself. And I kept that little mini version so I could refer back to it. I don't know what this line is. Don't know who that's from. Here's the layer of the presents. Do I have any of the sketchiness of this on here still? You can still see some of the layers in general. Oh, you can see how with the balloons as well, because you'll see what I mean about how a lot of it for when I'm doing stuff like this, I just like start slapping shit on. Like I had line art, you know, I had clean line art for this. I had like a sketch first and then the lines, and then I put in like the flat colors of what I generally thought would be the colors for these balloons in their little pattern, and then I just started drawing on top, and I drew, I think I did a little bit of shading that was like inside of it, and then I just started drawing on top of the lines as well, which is why this all blended into one layer. Because I think I really enjoy nowadays like drawing, and I do line art, or at least I do often like my sketch and my line art are like the same thing. Like I have a loose sketch and then I clean that up and line little bits until it's something that I'm satisfied with to call lines. Because I like my lines clean, but I'm trying to like stress about them being clean less and make it like clean that's fun for me as well, rather than clean that holds you back. And then after that, I do like a simple parts of shading. I will do underneath, like clipped to the color layer. But after that, it's just fucking free reign. I just draw everything on top. And I think it's so much fun. It's so much fun. It makes art feel so nice and fun. It feels like I'm blobbing paint onto things. It just feels really fun and lets me like not hold myself back. I never feel limited. So it never feels like I'm just doing a chore. And instead actually feels like I'm doing something creative. But yeah, for the balloons specifically, I had a blast drawing those. I spent like multiple hours just drawing these balloons, just coloring them in, but it was really satisfying to look at after. And these balloons were a lot of how I figured out the art style I wanted for everything else. Because starting with something like this, that's like in big, easy shapes and flat colors, was really handy to figure out how I wanted to use these colors all together and build a style for everything else. Yeah, they were very fun to draw. What else do I have in the layers here? There's all this stuff for the arcade cabinets, which are also a pain to draw affectionately. Oh, you can see for them as well how I did the same thing. And that's where that layer is. How they started off much more plainly colored, you know, and then I just kept doing shit. I just kept doing shit. And also you can see what I mean about how they were lined really precisely at first. Like I went really neat with the lines because I had a perspective ruler on there and everything to get the shape right. And then I went over top of everything freehand in order to give it a little bit more life. Because even though I wanted it, you know, it was important to me that it was neat and rolled at first. That's what gave it the right angle and everything. But then freehanding on top is what makes it actually feel alive and feel like part of the art piece. Because when it's just rulers and entirely even lines, it kind of gets really like stiff and dull and feels almost like out of place. This is what gave it pizzazz. This is what gave it life. This is what breathed life into it. Oh, that's the whole folder for the machines. What is that? I have a lot of layers going on in here. That makes sense though. There was a lot of shit going on. It was really hard. That's the machines. Hang on. Yeah, that's everything. Okay. Supernova Supergirl. Yeah. It also has this layer of screen tone over it. I think this is like one of the only layer modes that I use. This overlay layer for the screen tone, that's like it. Because I liked this background as is, and then I shoved on a really bright screen tone overlay because that helped it separate from the characters. That is also a pro tip. I like using screen tone for shading sometimes anyway, but in this case specifically, it was a good way to help make the, make the characters in the background not become one. Because I used, you know, all the same colors on both of them. So then just putting this there, like gives them just like that little bit of separation that makes it so much easier to breathe when you look at the image rather than all feeling entirely dense. And it gives just like a little bit of pizzazz and glow to everything too. And those are the people. There's a shit ton of layers here too. So many. There's all this. I really love drawing these sidekicks, by the way. This was the most fun part. This was such a treat at the end. I saved them until the very end, even though I'd sketched them in, so I could just like blob them all in on top of everything and do their little colors. And I love drawing them. And I actually, because I mentioned how I was going to draw the entirety of Niji Sanjian for this. I'll show you that. I'll show you the layers as work in progress for them. Because my vision for this was, so the idea that I was given was to draw a birthday party with Doppio and Doppio and Nijien and Flayon. And I was like, okay, I want to draw everyone. So what I'm going to do, because this is meant to take up the last chorus, is I'm going to split them all into their waves, maybe fuse a few of them together to cram down, like to make the numbers more even and make it so it can be spaced out over the chorus nicely. And then I'll make it so they're all coming and celebrating Dobby's birthday in different ways. But it sort of like builds up. Like some of them are helping him set up the party, some of them are just enjoying it. But also there's going to be more scythe kicks in every single scene. I really wish I had had the time to finish it because it would have been so much fucking fun. But so there's XLA here. And then we've got, let me turn the background down so you can see everything better. There's XLA here coming first, and someone feels like a pre-party, you know, like there's only a couple presents here and everything, and little sidekicks, and they're like cheering for him first. He gets to come give him a hug. That's his besties and his wave mates. Then we've got Lazulite and 𝘆cie𝘂𝗿 and Etheria all together because they have like lower member counts, and I fused a few waves together in order to make everything fit into this piece. And you can't see the sketch parts here that are missing because I lined it. But so Alira was going to be helping to put up more of those streamers that you see in the other pot. And Finana's here, like holding them down for her. There's going to be a little sidekick on here with a clipboard on her ear. And one's up here with Alira helping because she can fly. And then Millie and Enna, the babus, holding a banner. I do not know what I was going to put on there. Probably his birthday hashtag or something. I didn't decide. And then Petra had like a big giant sidekick as a present, which was going to base off of one of his merch designs. And this Pio was here welcoming them in. He was going to have a whole bunch of sidekicks in his arm here as they slowly, like I said, gradually add up the amounts of each one. And then there's Luxium here. I drew Vox in his sated form because I thought it'd be funny for him to barely be able to fit and be like bursting into those balloons with its horns and stuff. She was just having a nice time. I think I was going to put a sidekick in his mug and also his like little flames on the side. I turned into a party popper, and I think I was going to make some of them scared of that as well. Luca and Doppio are chasing with them. He's going to have a whole huge pile of sidekicks here, and Luca's got a bunch in his arm as well, and is like throwing one here. They're having fun. And a whole bunch of them like terrified everywhere. I sketched a lot for that. And then for Noctix, we have Alban, who's here feeding Doppio a little bit of a cake that Uki made, which isn't, you can't see the sketch for here. And then he had a sidekick like squeezed here, going like, ah! He's fucking kidnapping them while Doppio's not looking. And they're all like sitting here terrified and everything. Sunny has a big ol' streamer and party thing that's going like, bam! And I was gonna draw a bunch of sidekicks like flying away from it, terrified. I was also gonna add not only presents here with each one I'm gonna add up, but I was gonna add some sidekicks and other bullshit into the arcade machines as well. Then we have Iluna, and these ones are just gonna add sidekicks everywhere, to be honest. But this is Doppio laughing with Aya wearing his little his stupid cat drawing that Aya drew. She likes to draw cursed cats for each member of Nijisanji on their birthday. Maridine and Ren are ready to sing with her and everything. Scarla has brought her wand instead of a mic. I'm just gonna have something horrifying and cursed behind her that's meant to be a birthday gift. But I was gonna draw sidekicks holding on to Ren's horns and everything. Fucking terrified of that. One of them tying his stuff into it. Well, two of them tying his stuff into a bow as well. Like, it's so fun for me thinking of scenes like this with all this character interaction. I don't get to do them very much. It was a really great challenge because I haven't drawn... A lot of what I get to draw is, like, singular characters. Like, you know, like... Yeah, just, like, static in a little void. Because I draw a lot of, like, sprites from music videos and stuff. But drawing a scene like this of all this different character interaction and thinking about all of them in the space and their perspective and everything together and all this stuff together made me so happy. It was so much fun. I really need to get a chance to do it again. I need to do this much stuff for, like, a music video of my own sometime. But yeah, and they're all going to be flying around and laughing and everything. Then we have Crisis, and we have Doppio and Vanta with a bunch of lemon sours here, which is what was going to be in this jug. The V-bro and D-bro laughing together. Vanta is entirely fucking wasted. He has a cup here, and Sally is trying to, like, stop him from knocking it over and spilling it everywhere on him while putting all their presents down. Claude and Willie walking in. Claude has a bunch of food with him. He had glizzy. As bringing a bunch of food to the party, and Willie's waving over here, and they had a little sidekick stealing his glasses, which I thought was going to be really fun. Also, hi Madeline. And then for the North, you can't see the sketch very well, but for them, they were going to have a billion sidekicks as well, because they're right at the very end. Doppio has him in his arms again, running away, but more because he's terrified this time, because these two showed up, and everything feels fucking haunted. Like, Clara is running in here with a whole little, like, tray of, like, you know, like, sweets and crates and everything for his birthday, but there's clearly, like, fucking ghosts flying out from underneath it, and the sidekicks are flying everywhere, being like, what the fuck? And Ryoma was right behind him, just popped up out of nowhere as a sneaky fucking Ronin. He's like, hey, look what we got! And then I had By the Beat at the end, who were a little bit of a mess, but Frio is trying to pose everyone to take a photo, and all the sidekicks are flying over to do that. There's one of them that's trying to, like, instruct everyone with Frio. Sable's just, like, clapping and getting ready to pose for this. I think I meant to resketch him. Calyx is posing with him as the tallest man, doing something a little silly on his head while a bunch of sidekicks gather around for the photo, and does a big happy laugh, and Zeal is going... because he does that every time it's someone's birthday. So those are my plans to draw every single person to Nijisanji in this piece, which I didn't get to finish, but I am glad that I at least tried. And it was very fun to draw something with so much character interaction. I hope someone comments me for it one day. But yes, that was very fun. And I think that's most of what I wanted to talk about with this one, because what that was going to lead me into when I was talking about the color stuff was stuff for my Cosmic Collective Rival. Hang on. Let me disappear that while I open up the file. Ooh, my neck. Ouch. Oh, I stretched my back as well. Where is my file for... There it is. Wait, no, that's not the one. That's where it is. These two files. And drink some water. Okay, so... Project number 2 that I wanted to talk about today, even though I didn't put it on the thumbnail, is My Cute Cosmic Collective Rival. This was an original fan song that I was in for Honkai Star Rail for their Multiverse Vistas contest, which is a thing they do every single year, where it's like an original and a fan work contest altogether. People make art for it, people make songs for it, people make all types of like cosplay and other stuff for it, and they have a whole bunch of judges for it. And my friend Weeby Mizi invited me to join this very awesome team for this song called My... OBS is crashed. Hello? Are we alive? I think we're back. You guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Are we there? Is every Gutchy there? Is Eddie Gutchy there? Hello? Mic test 1 2 1 2. I think we're back. I think we're bowling. Don't know what the fuck happened with OBS there. I just decided to do that because it hates me, I guess. Okay, we're back. Cool, we're back. Okay. Anyway. What I was about to say was this stuff was for an original fan called My Cute Cosmic Collective Rival, and I will show you that as well. Where is it? Where did I put my window capture? I had one open. Why did it disappear? Yeah, there has to be some stuff in every stream. I will read your dream thing in a sec, because I'm a little focused. There we go. This is for this song called My Cute Cosmic Collective Rival, which I got to be involved in because my friend Weepy Meezy invited me to the team to be an artist and also a backup vocalist. It's an original song about the minigame, an event in HSR called Cosmic Roll-On, which actually you guys told me play in my last HSR stream. It's really cute. It's a cute little like trading card game. But here you go. I'll show some little snippets of this because I'm one of those vocalists in the back going in fact, that is specifically my note. Oh, that's loud, isn't it? I did not do this background piece, but all of the art you see in the center here, I did the character design and the sketch and the line art, and I thought it was very fun. 𝘆cie_𝗿 did so there was a Cognin as well who did base coloring, and then Web went in and helped to clean some of that up, and 𝘆cie_𝗿 did all the shading and rendering and did an amazing job. It's so fucking gorgeous. I love the way 𝘆cie_𝗿 uses colors. But yeah, if you want to see and hear the whole thing, you should listen to it all. You can hear live Emmy scatting audio. In fact, I think I still have my raw file for that. Wait. Because I sent it to my friends and was like, live Emmy scat audio, not clickbait, raw. Where is it? I remember all the kids at lunchtime rifling cards at their desks. I found it. Hollow borders and prismatic dice. It's Cosmic Collective again. Hello. Sat by the window. Card finder in tow. Oh, it's my cute card game rival. He's such a marquee. Showed up with 𝘆cie_𝗿. There we go. You can hear it. Listen to Emmy roars. It was honestly really satisfying to record these. I turned my room into a little sound booth for this because I used to not need to so much, but the reverb in my room is pretty bad because the ceilings are really high, the walls are really tall, so there's a whole bunch of stuff for it to bounce off. I can hear the fucking reverb every time I raise my volume in here right now, and it really bothers me. But with the way my room used to be arranged, I didn't really need to cover that up that much in order to record. But ever since I changed my desk and changed the direction it faces, now I face directly where the worst fucking bounce for sound in my room is, and so now it's like when I record singing, you can hear you can hear it, especially if I get loud at all. I've got hiccups. I don't know why I've got hiccups. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Can I stop hiccuping? What the heck? Anyway, what was I gonna say? Yeah, you can like hear the sound bouncing in my room so fucking loud. So I turned my room into a little sound booth for this, and by that, I think I posted a picture of it on Twitter. Hang on. I'm willing to open Twitter. I'll be brave. I'll be brave. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Here's my incredibly professional sound booth. Look at it. Look at it. Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it stunning? Isn't it so beautiful? It's so professional. It's so gorgeous. Yeah, this is my beautiful recording setup. That's a ladder over to the left side here, and then I had like a clothing rail, which is that white bar in the back, and I also had a giant mirror, which is not my mirror. You can kind of see it down in the right corner, but I had a giant mirror that is like whole standing length, that is actually not mine. I stole from another room in order to have it here behind me. So it's balanced across that, and then the clothing rail, and then the ladder in like a weird little triangle, and then with my mic, because it's an arm on my desk, just kind of like pulled out as far as it can go so that it'll be there without touching it, and then my whole ass duvet on top. It was so fucking warm. I was so hot in there. Oh my god, I was so hot in there. I hated it. It was so hot and sweaty. Every single time I finished recording a line, I had to squat down in front of my fan underneath. It was so fucking hot. I really want to one day have like an actual sound booth in my place and make it even at least slightly air conditioned. It would be so nice. But yes, that was how I recorded. So I got these beautiful vocals like this. I wonder if I can see it again. Scatting part. I like that bit. Where is it? There it is. What he thought about his cute cosmic leg. That's a website, not mine. But yeah, I like doing that. And I also, you know, there's something random I can show you that is not related to recent projects I did, but actually something that I didn't release. Do you guys want to hear an unreleased cover? Wonder, where did I put FL Studio? Do you guys want to hear an unreleased cover? In fact, I've got like two. Two? Is it three? Technically three, I think. Do you guys want to hear an unreleased cover that I probably won't ever release because I want to re-record it and I want to get it remixed? I'm going to give you guys secret content. I should have asked what he thought about his cute cosmic collective rival. There's teardrops. Sailed in the stars. This is secret con. I'm gonna have to do so much fucking editing out of copyrighted audio at the end of the stream, but whatever. The colors here are gonna be off because this is the way I have my Audacity thing set up, but whatever. You guys should be able to hear this, right? Yeah. So I actually had a plan a little while ago that what I wanted to do was for like month or two leading up to the release of Bang Dream's new anime Yume Mita, which is based on their VTuber group, Mugen Mu-type, otherwise known as Yume Mita. But for the Yume Mita anime, I was gonna do a cover, like a shorts cover. I was gonna release like one a week, or eventually it was gonna be one every few days, of every single Bandori band. I was gonna do one song for every band in Bandori, and then have the last one be Yume Mita, so it would be right before like they release, like leading up to their release. I was gonna do a cover every Bandori band until Yume Mita releases. It was my goal. But I ended up having to do a lot of the recording last minute, and then I got sick and I just couldn't do it. And so I ditched that, especially because I wasn't happy with my vocals for it because I was like ill, and I was like recording in too much of a rush. I wasn't happy with my mix for it and everything, so I didn't do that. But I would like to cover these same songs one day because I want to start releasing shorts covers regularly. But you can hear the unreleased versions that I'm not going to do anything with. I haven't listened to them in a while, so I'm probably not going to like them. I really don't like this. It's specifically like I can tell myself that I did these vocals in such a, like, they're not, I also, there's no like time tune on like any of this. I just raw dogged it. Because I do that for any shorts that I cover, that I release really, because I like to be speedy about them, and I'm rhythm is mostly good enough. But I can tell for myself that I'm straining for a lot of it, which just sucks because I know how to sing the song so well. But because I was like stressed and tired, my voice was working with me, and it was like hot and I was sick. And I tend to like overthink the second I'm in front of a mic to record for myself. I do better singing like on my own or even on karaoke streams nowadays. But when I'm recording on my own, I need to like get out of my head about it. Because sometimes I just get too much in my head, and then everything, I sing it in a way that's really stiff and unnatural, and then end up straining my voice before I can even get it back to the natural part. When it's like, if I'm just like sitting there, I could pull this song out and sing it in like perfectly and be like, oh, I should hit record, and the mic's in front of me, and then I just fumble. But it's not the worst of things considered. I wonder how it sounds with everything but the instrumental. There's so many mouth noises. And then, so along with that, I also did 𝘆cie𝘂𝗿 by Afterglow. This song's really fun to sing. I definitely want to cover this one again in the future. Ooh, I forgot I was in the middle of changing the mix for this one. All of the fucking things are open. Yikes. We'll find out if it sounds Oscar that or not. Thanks for coming. I remember being very, because this part in the middle like peaks really bad, so I was messing with like 50 different thousand types of like reverb things to make it sound more purposeful, and also these parts go out of time, which is quite funny. Let's listen to the acapella. You could really hear the forced timing there. So there's 𝘆cie𝘂𝗿. And then I also did the third one that I did was, where is it? Where's Pep Meets Step? What? That's a different, did I not mix that one? Oh, I guess I never got around to starting mixing that one. Hang on, I'll find that one in Audacity. When was I love this song, it's really nice. Where's my Pep Meets Walk Walk Meets Trip? There it is. I found the file. There we go. Please don't be loud as shit. How loud is this? That's playing out my fucking speaker. Don't play out my speaker. This time you're getting fully raw vocals because these aren't mixed yet. But then again, I didn't do any fucking time tuning on the others, so those are just like they're mixed in regards to like the reverb and shit. But I can play that one a cappella as well. Wait, let me move these either side. There's those. Was there anything else I recorded recently in here? Nah. I'm not showing you the rolls for the Sunugo and Teardrops because I didn't like them much. But there's those things that I did. Those covers that will never be released. But now if you watch this stream, then congratulations, you got to hear them. And you're the only people. Because they also might even be muted from the stream later because I'm going to get copyright struck. But what I did want to talk about, right, was my Cosmic Collective Rival, which I had open here, and then I accidentally turned off my mirroring thing. There we go. So, for my cute Cosmic Collective Rival, which I played a second ago, before I did that stuff. Yeah, I did the character design and also the like sketch / line art for it all. I had a really awesome storyboard by Cognitin to work off of, and then some notes from them what they wanted the characters to be, because we designed these two characters to be like generic, like girl A and boy B fitting in Plain Arcadia in HSR, which is where the Cosmic roll-on game comes from, where they have cute little very anime, like purposefully goofily anime high schools and everything with these little uniforms. So I designed my own little flavor of the uniform. I wonder if I still have my refs in here. I do, because I got given a few different character refs. Like, here's the uniform over here, and I don't have the photos of the original girl uniform anymore, I believe. But I went off the way that their actual uniform looked, and then just, like, changed around the colors for myself. And also, Kargadin wanted them to have this sort of, like retro, like, 80s, 90s anime feel, and, like, you know, that sort of being that, like, 80s anime heartthrob in their design. Like, very simple and generic, but also, like, iconic in their own way for the sake of it being a recognizable character in the music video, and same for the girl and everything. So I went off of that for their sketches, which is very fun to do, to give them these like designs that are like super simple but have their own little motifs that make them stand out and like really exaggerated and stuff. Like they're big ass fucking bangs for both of them, and like he has this little pointy algae in the back, and like these little like flicks of hair that don't really make that much sense, but they're just there. And then she has big bangs as well, and has this cute little bow and her super fluffy hair. And for both of them I made a note that it's like a whichever way they're facing, that's the way their bangs are facing, you know? Like, their bangs are on whichever side is convenient. Because I see that a lot in, like, older cartoons and anime and stuff sometimes, especially when they have this type of, like, fluff. Because, like, you know, it, like, technically, when you look at it, is brushed to curve this way. Is brushed to, like, curve this way. Why will this layer exist? Curve this way with him. But, like, it's more convenient if from the other side it doesn't have to go that way, but instead just also goes this way, too. Especially because they're, like, kind of centered at the end of the day anyway. But, yeah. And I focused on, it's, the reason why it came to mind is because in the Daijobu Mr. Blue Sky thing, I did the same sort of thing color-wise, where I started with a limited thing and then added more stuff later, because I was not going to be the one doing the rendering for this, or the coloring for any of the backgrounds and stuff, just that I planned out the colors for the characters when I designed them, and then I had rendering in mind for that and how to make everything pop, because Kagurden did that really gorgeous that you saw, which I can show again. No, not this. Wait. This really gorgeous backdrop for it all. Cognitin gave in this like background before I had done any like liner sketch work on the storyboards, because they planned that out in like the little Polaroid format that everything would be in. And that had a bunch of really fun colors on it. So I was like, okay, interesting. Because the original refs that I was working off for the character designs of like the school uniform and everything were in a lot of neutrals. But Cogniton went fucking crazy. And I was like, hell yeah, I love colors. Let's go crazy. So I had that in mind with designing them. And that is how I got this neat little palette for them. Which demonstrates a lot of the things that I was talking about with my Judge of Mr. Blue Sky one, you know? Because I limited it at first by, like, picking around her design. Like, I wanted very simple colors for the base of the outfit and everything itself. Like, I knew I wanted it to be pink. We were going to make it all pink and fun and cutesy, super cutesy. Which meant his uniform needed to be pink as well. And I wanted her to have, like, I wanted them to both have, like, really specific palettes that make up their design. So, like, she, even though her hair is, like, you know, it looks like it's standing in for brown. This is purple. It's like, you know, a pinkish purple that makes up her hair. And even though his hair seems like it's probably a stand-in for black, if he was like, you know, normal person with normal hair, that is dark blue for him because his color is blue and hers is pink because I thought it'd be cute to give them a little contrast. So then she has these like bright pinks in her eyes and everything as well. And like the uniform is based around pink to go around her, but I specifically picked really purple shades of blue for him in order to match with that. He has like really purple shades for like his dark ones to match with the pinks purples of the dark of the uniform. And then like blues in like this indigo area for all these bright ones. Yeah. And it's actually honestly a really similar palette to what I did for Dive of Mr. Blue Sky, but that one was based around like having like really dark indigos, like this really fully saturated for everything, like that, and then like a magenta as their main thing. Whereas for this one, I built around this like warmer pink to give it like this cutesy lovey-dovey feel, and then it just like veers off a little bit for that, but I used a lot of similar contrast tones in here because you can see exactly what I meant, right, about how I limited everything. So it's like the darkest color that they have is like, you know, like they have this like a purple pink sort of shade for their trousers, but then their shoes go in this like dark purple, and that is my black. Again, I did the same thing again. See, I told you I would do this every time. Like this is the black for her uniform when she's older, and for his shirt and stuff, and for like their shoes and everything. I pick one purple thing and I do not let anything get darker than that. And then made it very simple for like their hair and stuff, so that then with their eyes and with the contrast colors, I could make a fun little palette. So they would have really saturated colors for their eyes that'll pop like with the background that we had. And then a little bit of paler ones in between. And then I gave them both this like cyan and yellow as contrast colors to be dynamic with it all for shading. And I made them both have it, but like in opposite ways for their eyes to match. With it all would be really cute. So she has this yellow underneath the pink, because then it's almost like sort of like, you know, lighting on the pink. It's like a gradient. And then the blue as a contrast. And then he has the opposite, where like that blue, that cyan is just like, you know, the lighter version of the blue he has at the top. And then the yellow is a contrast. It's like they're in each other, like in each other's eyes. I shouldn't have ended that sentence there. I shouldn't have said in each other. They're in each other's eyes. They're like, you know, like your eyes are the window to the soul. So I think it's really cute when characters reflect each other in them. And I did the same thing again as well of picking like a white that was not white. I made a really saturated blue for this one because part of how I wanted everything to pop with the background that Cogniton did again. Because like I said, it's like Cogniton's one has a lot of really super bright colors. So I wanted everything to pop in the same way. Which means fuck white. I do not use white. In fact, I even used this really bright blue for their like eye whites and everything as well when I sketched out the character designs, and for their shirts and everything, which is part of why I needed these super intense colors for their eyes in order to make it pop and balance out together. Yeah. So I like making these little characters with their little motifs and stuff. That's why for the adult version of the dude, he has like he has this blue scarf here in the same saturated blue that his like vest that he wore under the uniform was in the original, because I wanted him, and I also gave him that vest in the first place to make sure that he'd have something that felt like his iconic little color thing, in the same way that she has her big pink bow, even though their uniform is overall pink. And he also has his card binder and everything as well. Yeah, and I kept like the little hearts and stuff that I gave her in her design consistent over here with like a little heart-shaped necklace and stuff, even though it's based off of the uniform that actually exists in game. And then we have the big storyboard file. For all of the line art that I did for this total, I did a lot of it across like 1 or 2 days because I got delayed with other stuff, and also the project in general, a lot of the visual side of it, we did very last minute. To finish all of this, I did it across the span, like a drawing session of 34? I think 34 was my total time, hours. And by that, I do not mean that I split it across days. I mean, I sat down and I drew for 34 hours straight. A lot of my friends were concerned about it. I remember mentioning it on another stream actually as well. But you can see I have all of it in one file because I have the storyboards that Cogniton did originally of everything, where they labeled it out with each frame and like planned its lyrics. Cogniton was a lyricist as well. They carried this shit so much. They were so good. with all their ideas for the storyboard, and then wrote down an explanation for me of what they wanted for everything and the story that was going on in each thing, so then I could interpret it and what I wanted from that. And then I did my sketching over it of my plan for everything with each scene, based on what Karkadin gave me in the storyboards and stuff. All my sketched ideas. And I actually, for a lot of this, I used 3D models in Clip Studio to help me as well, because I was working with a lot of like classroom scenes and everything, and A, to make those quicker, B, to just make them look better. Even though we're going for like a silly simplified style in their anatomy, I wanted to actually be able to, you know, draw out the scene properly, without just like eyeballing it and making it all off balance. So I used the 3D models feature in Clip Studio Paint, and if any of you guys haven't used it before, it's so fucking goated. You should, because it's so cool. Look at this. You in CSP can make, they have entire environments and models that you can drop into the environments, which is so fucking helpful. Like for that classroom scene that we have, which file is that? Which scene is that? Is it 1? Yeah, it is 1. Number 1, which you can also see in the video here at the start. I remember 1. So for this, I have the lines and everything like this, but that started from sketch like why is my layers off? Hello? Why is it invisible? There we go. Like this, which was drawn over this. So I had like, I sketched something looser first. I don't think I still have the original sketch. Let me check. No, yeah, I sketched something looser first of how I wanted it, and looked at like Karkadin's storyboard here of everyone sitting at their desk and stuff. I don't know how I accidentally moved that out of frame, but whatever. That was like this. And I had like a looser sketch, and then I pulled up the 3D models in CSP, and they have a classroom room in there, which I used and like turned around, and then dragged in a few different fem models. I also adjusted the sizing on them to be a little bit more anime, just to help with the scaling. And with the models in CSP, when you've got like an environment there, you can move them around, and they have like these like boxes and everything. They will slot into place in most sections, so it's really fucking good for figuring out perspective and everything like this, you know? Like you can see how it matches up with the line and the angle and everything as you move them around in the space. And it'll like try the best it can to like stand them on the floor most of the time, or like sit them in seats that you have in this space. It's so fucking handy. And so then I took that as my reference. And sketched more refined on top of that. Yeah, sketched something more refined on top of that. Ta-dong. And I did my lining on that. And messed with the proportions a little bit more to match with everything that I did. And for this one as well, I wanted to keep the lines, even though they do change later and get really fucking thick later, even though they're really thin at the start. That was an accident. But I wanted to keep the line art generally consistent to make the workflow quicker, and also give it a more, like, just easier workflow quicker for me in lighting, so I wasn't fussing too much about line weight and everything. But also make it so I could, like, it'd be easier for everyone else to like shade and color and work around it, and to give it that more feel of just like anime, you know, like we're going through these scenes. So I used specifically one pen for this. I used the fill-in mono pen because I like to sketch in the Milli pen in CSP rather than in a pencil. It feels just kind of like a ballpoint pen. It even has a little ball at the start, but it's not great for lining in because of that little janky part. So this is the fill-in mono pen, which is maybe a little more consistent with that while being entirely even with like no, you know, fucking like line weight difference. It was very handy. Whereas usually for my default stuff, I line with the G pen, which I have set to have like really high sensitivity settings where like, you know, I can do a line that's this thin and a line that's this thin in the same brush size. But that's not very helpful for doing something like this, where you want to jump between a bunch of different scenes in a storyboard. It's way more helpful to have one consistent line weight, or at least like a overall very consistent line weight. And it saves me a lot of time that I usually spend like, you know, joining up lines, doing everything, when I can just get this one pen and like, you know, go over everything in one smooth motion. Makes it a lot easier. But yeah, these are the things that I lined for that. I lined so many things. And yeah, that not healthy, the 34 hours, yeah, but it worked. I don't recommend it in general. Obviously, yeah, you should not do that. You should not just like grind for that long. But hey, I had a mission and it just kind of worked out for me that way. Like I woke up one day, I took my ADHD meds and everything and ate and everything, and then I sat down and I locked the fuck in. My brain was so locked in. I during the time that I was doing this, I got really into Just Roll With It. It's a D&D podcast that I love. Neri got me into them a while ago through their video of playing the worst D&D campaign ever. You should watch it. It's wonderful. It's on YouTube, called The Forest Oracle. And I got obsessed with them through that and watched a couple of their one-shots. And then through this, I was like, okay, I need something in the background. Because when I'm unmedicated, my background noise is usually like 50 different things and a movie and a playlist of hyperpop. And when I am medicated, my background noise is a podcast because I can't take much more. Like once I actually have my ADHD meds, and things become too distracting if there's too much going on. It feels really weird for me still to get used to. But I needed something that was going to be like exciting enough for me to keep company, like for me to have it like keep me company this whole time, but also be like plain enough that it wouldn't distract me from my work. And I ended up getting really into that podcast. It was fucking perfect. It was like really interesting and really like got me really hooked, so my brain could like focus on that while my hands were just doing the art stuff like mindlessly, but also it'd be enough that I could focus and lock in on art stuff without having to stop and pause it and like be distracted. And I went through like everything they had, every single one shot at least, because I watched Fabula Ultima, their anime one, and I bought their Patreon so I could watch the second part. And I also watched their like Stat Level 1, all the other one-shots that they had on YouTube. And then I got into Unwitnessed Protection Program, which is their Call of Cthulhu campaign, which has, I think, it had 3 parts for the first season, which are all like an hour or 2 long. And then I watched all of the second season as well, which had 3 parts out of the time. The 4th one came out recently. I haven't watched it, which are all like a couple hours long. I binged through fucking everything, dude. No wonder you were in Alpha in 2 weeks. Honestly, you know the funny thing? That's not even related. That was unrelated. Because I mean, to be fair, after that, I did need to take a break. I did have to have like a day of just like resting and just like passing the fuck out. But that the 2 weeks was because it was a fucking heat wave and because I was sick. That was unrelated to this. But I was out for a while before that because I was busy doing this, yeah. But yeah, I said I locked in, I had my meds, and they just kind of like kept me awake for a long time, because usually with the way my meds work, it's kind of funny to me, because I'll have like really consistent energy throughout the whole day. I'm generally like insomnia for a while if I take them a bit too late, and it'll be like 1 a.m, fully wide awake, full of energy, do everything. 2 a.m, fully wide awake, full of energy, ready to do everything. 3 a.m, fully awake, fully ready of energy. 4 a.m, fully awake, full of energy. It hits 5 exactly. Because it feels like rather than getting like gradually tired, with my ADHD meds, provided I like take them just a little bit late usually, then like, yeah, rather than getting gradually tired, it feels like I'm a sim who's had one of their needs grayed out for something, so I can't see what the stat bar is at, and it's just like not affecting me. Like, you know, I'm not affected by the energy thing, and then suddenly once it hits 5 a.m, whatever potion I was using wears out, and I suddenly realize that my stat was in fucking red, and I'm like about to hit the fucking like, you know, critical thing where your sim just passes out and you have to wait for it, because that happens to me when I'm on meds like that. Sometimes I'll like stay up working on stuff, and then I'll hit 5 and I'm realizing like, oh, I'm getting kind of sleepy, and then I like pass out for a sec. Not pass out when it's dangerous, just like I fall asleep at my chair and then wake up 20 minutes later with like an ache in my neck, and I'm like, oh fuck, right, yeah, I need to go to bed. Even though like 2 minutes before that I was like fully wide awake. I could have run a fucking marathon. But yeah, so I did that, and then I like stayed up, just kind of grinded through it, because I was just like locked in and I wanted to get it done, and my brain was just locked in, and I think I eventually just like survived off like Monster and stuff afterwards as well. And I to be fair, let it be known, I did get up in between this. I like stretched, and every now and then I ate. I still made myself all of my meals in between it. I did like eat food, although I don't know how many meals I ate. I don't recommend this. Do not take this as advice. I'm laughing at it because it's funny in hindsight, but you should not do this. You should pace yourself more evenly. But like, I did eat. I made myself food, but it's more like I ate something on the morning of the dawn of the first day, and I ate like a full meal for that because I knew I would then be locked in, and then I just kind of like locked the fuck in until it was like 7 a.m. the next day, and I was like, hi, I need some food. I'll get some. Because when you're focused enough, when you're I think a lot of people with ADHD would get this, and with autism, but when you're fixated enough, when you're like in hyperfixation mode, especially when you've got like meds and stuff like this that kind of like messes your appetite and everything as well, you just like, your other needs just wait. Sometimes they just fucking wait. They just like go on the back burner. You just don't notice them until later when you suddenly notice them all at once. But yeah, so I did that, and I remember it was really funny seeing messages from my friends, because I had my Discord status on it the whole time. I have like Discord set so that when I have Clip Studio Paint open on my PC, it says like, you know, drawing and everything, and my friends would look at it and be like, hey, 24 hours? You've been 24, like, there's no way, dude, are you okay? Like, do you leave your shit open? And I was like, no, I'm drawing. Or there was one part where I was like drawing and giving updates, and then Web messaged me the next day to be like, hey, are you doing this stuff? And I was like, look at my status, I'm drawing. I'm doing it. Or like I had a couple of my friends, one of them like messaged and was like, oh, I miss Emmy, I wonder what Emmy's up to. And then the other one messaged them a fucking screenshot of my status that said like drawing 30 hours, and they're like, dude, Emmy's in the mines, I need to get them out. And they're like, what the fuck? And there were points I got messages from different friends who were like messaging the others to be like, can you tell Emmy to stop? But I had a mission, I had a goal in mind, I had a mission, and I wanted to see it through, and I did, and it worked, and I was very happy with it. And like, again, I wouldn't recommend doing that. I will avoid doing that in the future, grinding like that. You shouldn't really do that overall. However, it got the job done, and I'm happy that I did it because it was worth it for the video. It was worth it overall to be a part of this song, and I love how everything turned out for the song, and it's wonderful. But yeah, so that's how we got all of this done over the span of like 2 or 3 days. I don't know. It was at least a 34-hour work session. I think I took a screenshot of my Discord status at the end. But I don't know. I lost track of like when like days and nights passed, you know? Because I was just grinding. But it was worth it. And it was honestly kind of like fun in a way. I think it's partially was just so fun because of the fact that I was listening to a really awesome D&D podcast the whole time. But it was like fun because I was having fun doing this work all together and being part of a project like this. I've really been enjoying being in more types of collaborative projects like this recently, both through commissions and for like fun things together. But yeah, you can see all of the lines that I did for each frame. And it was fun doing stuff like this as well, with how Cogniton recommended that we, for the cards that we use, because there's a few that are mentioned directly in this video, that being 𝘆ći's, 𝘆ci𝘂𝗿's, Scott's, and the Furbo Journalist. And for all of those, we wanted to have like their own little illustrations that felt more like they were real trading cards rather than just like the stock, like gotcha sprites. So we had those. And that was really fun to draw. I also realized, oh my god, I'm never drawing 𝘆ci𝘂𝗿 again in my life. Oh my god, 𝘆ci𝘂𝗿 is so hard to draw. Especially while trying to simplify shit. She has so much shit going on. She has so much hair. She has so much hair. Like, a lot of HSR characters have a ton of stuff going on. But like, 𝘆ći𝗂𝗿 was easy. It's all like pretty easy to understand and follow. 𝘆ci𝘂𝗿 has so much hair. It's just, oh. She's very pretty though. I love her. I love her. I love her. I really like doing this room as well with a little 𝘆ci𝘂𝗿 thing here. And then the 𝘆ći𝗂𝗿 one in the back that's crying because she got trumped. Yeah, and here's another frame. I go through all of them. I drew so much stuff for this. There's these ones you can tell as well that some of them are drawn last minute because there were some that I did really late, and then I actually ended up redoing the last like 5 or so frames and then a few early ones as well because I just wasn't satisfied with the original versions of them. And then there was like this that I added in last minute, so it has different line art and stuff. You can tell when I drew each one. I liked how this one turned out. I think this one was really fun. Showed of the school outside, and yeah, this I ended up redrawing parts of at the end and fixing lines for this because they came out kind of janky. This is the redraw. This is the old version. Yeah, because this shot I did it like one of the last ones, and I was in such a rush and I was like, fuck it, the perspective, I can't figure it out. But it looks so ass. This guy looks so janky, and I ended up redrawing him. Where's the file where I redid it? There it is. Because then I went in after that one had been flat colored and I redrew it so it could look better. And I'm so glad I did, because like, look at this. This is what happens when you draw at like 5 a.m. while your eyes are squinting and you haven't like you need to go like, you know, take a break and get some food and get some fucking energy or medication. You need to wake up because like, you know, for the second day I was then awake again after I'd like, you know, locked in a bit. But there's like there's like a point from like 5 to 7 at one point where I was like, but I want to keep going, but and that's how this guy came out like this. And then I redrew him later. There we go. Then he got to look pretty for the final video. I'm so glad that I did, and he didn't look like this in the final shot. Hi, Web. You did do this. You did do this. I was talking about how I drew for 34 hours straight and all the stuff that I did. Yay. And Web did very pretty base colors for it. But yeah, and here's all of that. These were fun to draw. And drawing a shot like this. It was really fun to draw more backgrounds through this and all these different angles. It's like what I said with the Daito Mr. Blue Sky thing. I've been having fun lately doing more scenes that let me draw like character interaction and just like everyone spaced out in a whole different scene together, because I don't get to do that much. And it was really fun drawing all these little items and little things and imagining how all the characters would be spaced out. It's really fun because it's kind of a neat challenge for me when I usually just draw like idle poses that are static in one shot. And I drew the most confusing composition in the world for this pose here as well. I think when I sent it in, I sent it with like, yeah, with these colors to explain where everything was too. But it looked cute in the end, so it's okay. Because you can see how cute it looked in the end in the final video, right? Here! Yay! Focus shading was so nice for it as well. I was driving when you told 34 hours story, but regret to inform you inspired me to get ADHD medication. You should get ADHD medication. Not for the sake of doing something for 34 hours, though. To be fair, that is not a reason. That is not a good reason. However, you should get ADHD medication because it is goated altogether, and I think it would help you a lot. I do, like, even though I don't recommend, you know, like, drawing for 34 hours straight and forgetting to do anything else, it is a nice feeling to just be able to focus on things and not have to, like, be beholden to your ADHD. Because, like, recently I've been unmedicated because I couldn't take my meds during the heat wave because it wasn't, like, I didn't feel, I just, like, the side effects were not cooperating with the heat. So I didn't for that while I was sick. And then I ordered them recently, but I haven't got my new ones yet. And it's been really eye-opening being back to how I was, because oh my god, my workflow has been shit. It's been so, like, I've had such a hard time working on everything. It's been like I've been so slow at it, and like when I do work on stuff, I feel myself checking my phone, doing all this other stuff so much more often again. And I know it used to be like that, and I still do little things like that sometimes, but when I'm actually medicated and focused, I can work so much more consistently. Like I can sit down and be like, okay, I need to do this thing, and do that for hours and actually get it done. And it feels really weird to do that, and also it feels really weird again to be without it again. I highly recommend it to anyone who has ADHD. It helped me a lot. Obviously your experience is different for everyone, but yeah. So that's the stuff that I did for this one. Yay! My first time facing for a project like this. Yeah, it was. And you did a fucking good job at it as well. You did so good. It was awesome. You did so good with the base coloring, and 𝘆cie did so good with the shading as well. I love looking at all the colors 𝘆cie did for everything. It is so fucking pretty. She animated like live shooting. Yeah, because 𝘆cie did animation for
showed up with 𝘆cie. Does he not remember Sirenese
like this? Yeah. It's really pretty. I love it. That's so much fun. Sorry, that's loud as hell. You probably couldn't hear me talking over it. But I was saying that it was still really good. And 𝘆cie absolutely fucking carried me. I'm so happy with how this came out. Yay! Which, by the way, is one more reason that you guys should go and listen to the song. But yeah, so now I've yapped about Divisive Mr. Blue Sky and shown you all the behind the scenes of how I did that and explained my art process. And for this one, and shown you all the files and also my raw vocals and everything. And you guys even got leaks of covers that I'm not posting. Yeah, sorry, I left it too loud. And you guys even got leaks of covers that I'm never going to post. You got unreleased content. You got 3 whole short covers of Bandori songs that I will not be releasing. And to be fair, I haven't actually talked about some of the other projects I intend to do for this, because I didn't talk about Intergalactic Disco and 𝘆cie yet. But I think I might save another stream to talk about 𝘆cie stuff, because there's more I want to talk about. I want to yap sometime about everything I did for 𝘆cie and also for Heartbeat. But I will first talk about the Intergalactic Disco things, because I think I have the stuff for that here as well. Because there's not as much to say for that, but hang on. I think I have the file still. Where is it? Where's my sketch files? This cannot be the one, right? Wait, no, I remember what they're called. They're called IG. There it is. Yeah, because for the cover of Intergalactic Disco that I was in recently, I did all of the sketch art as well. I don't know why this layer is called 𝘆cie. These are all named, these final files. That has Ryu, Amias, Kiwi, Adri, Kyoki, Sakura, and then for some reason mine is called 𝘆cie. I don't know. I don't know why I called it that. What? Okay, but I think I have the initial sketch file here of where I first started sketching out what I wanted to do for everyone. Because when I have a bunch of poses to draw like this for a bunch of different stuff, I like to do like a big thumbnailing shot of just like scribbling a whole ton of them together so I can figure out the general vibe of like how I can pose them all differently. And then I went into, let me disappear my screen again. 𝘆cie. I don't know why it's just called 𝘆cie. I think I have an idea. I think it's because in my files for them, like in the individual separated files for each one, when I do my sketches, I don't still have the loose sketch, because I start with a much messier sketch first. It's your 34-hour Emmy. This was unrelated. This is unrelated. So this was a normal like 2-hour Emmy. But I start with a much looser sketch, and then I like do a slightly cleaner on top of that, and then just like keep cleaning it. And doing this was part of how I realized recently that I need to just start using my sketches as line art and more stuff to make my workflow quicker, because I tend to, especially when I'm sketching for the sake of someone else lining it, clean up a lot, because otherwise my lines get really easy to confuse or misunderstand for people. Like my sketch lines, because of the specific way that I do line art, it confuses people a lot. So I end up cleaning it up so much that eventually it just is functionally line art. But this was the sketch. This was my one, the last one that I did. And when I'm giving it to someone else, I name my layers more specifically. So here, I think is where we got it, because we have the face layer here, and then a layer called stuff, which is indeed all the stuff, and then the fit, and then the weave, and then the flesh. I think one of my little joys that makes it easier to do a bunch of work like this is just to name my layers things that are technically accurate, but are like the worst name for it. So flesh, weave, fit, stuff, face. Yeah, you know, like it makes sense. It makes sense. I had a lot of fun drawing these. I've posted all of the art on Twitter and stuff. Oh, here's flesh. Here's a flesh mount of everyone. But it's really fun for me. I love drawing idle poses. You can also see something that always happens when I do a bunch of things like this for a bunch of different sprites, where the first one is always going to be really fucking messy, because I start off, like, I sketch looser at first for myself anyway, but when I sketch really messy, it's generally only me who can understand it. So I'll start off like that, just like loosely doing things and figuring out, and I'm also, because I'm like less confident about how I want the overall style and the poses and stuff to be, and then I give that to someone and I'm like, ah, okay, I know what I need to improve now, and I know what I need to communicate better for someone, because clearly I did not communicate this very well. I know now what I need to do, and then after that, they all get really clean. And they're all suddenly like really, really super clean, and they keep getting cleaner and cleaner until they're just like basically line art on their own. But yeah, I loved doing this. I love drawing idle poses. I love coming up with them all. I always like do them all IRL before I actually draw them out. Fun fact. Or rather, I like sketch them out, and in order to check how they are, I often end up doing them IRL. I always think about something that I could physically do. Or sometimes I'm just like standing around thinking about how I want to do stuff, and I'll like do a bunch of poses IRL and then like imagine them out, and then I go and like start sketching at random. I think it's so much fun to do poses for different idle things and try to make them all dynamic, well, completely different. And also because Intergalactic Disco has like they have a matching set of outfits, but like slightly unique to each idol, and I didn't want to just copy those for all of the characters that we had, so they all got unique ones of their own, and it was fun playing around with those and designs. Amias did the design for themselves, and also came up with a little bit of how to make it more masculine for Kiwi, and then I took free reign from there. And that's another thing that I love, is coming up with like matching uniforms with the different items for each person, and how to like bring out their charm points. It's I love idols. I love idols. I love idols. It's exactly where my brain belongs, is doing dynamic idol poses and unique little outfit variations for them. Like for Audrey, they are very like, you know, little like sleek and have like long hair and a very cool design. So I give them long gloves and like these long boots with a little like star pot here to match the Intergalactic Disco thing. And for 𝘆cie, I gave them because Amias designed themselves with a long skirt with like this frilly layer over the top, and with these like little loose flowy sleeve things, then gloves underneath it that are like fingerless. So for 𝘆cie, I made them kind of match, having a long skirt but with like the thigh slit instead, and way more like sleek in its design. And these little gloves with little frills and the matching sleeve thing, so it's like they're kind of like a unit together with little gloves, little frills, and then a little frill on their heels and everything as well. And Sakura got a skirt kind of like I think I based this one off Wrinkles in the original MV, because I thought they just suit something that's kind of like mid-length on the short side, but like fluffy and sort of flows in the same way as their hair. Pro tip, that is a really easy way to help make these things match, because like you see how 𝘆cie has like this long flowy straight hair, so I gave them a long flowy straight skirt, and Audrey has like long sleek design with like a straight hair, so then I gave them like this sleek little outfit that matches that and highlights that in their legs, and it flows the same way as their hair. And for Sakura, they have like fluffy like curly hair, but not like curly in the way that mine is, so their skirt flows the exact same way that their hair does, so it matches together and it balances out. Yeah, purple one for, yeah, I know you'd like this one, because that's you, Core. 𝘆cie is very pretty. They have a very beautiful design. But yeah, and Sakura got these little boots and stuff as well that I thought were cute. There's me. Honestly, my design was a no-brainer. I do designs like this for myself a lot with like the boobs out and with the shorts, but I just think they suit me. I think and it kind of matches what I said with how like part of how you make it match for my hair and then the rest of my outfit is I have like, I'm very symmetrical because of the way that my head is with my big puffy hair. So but also I have big boobs and big hips. So if you limit everything to give it sort of playful vibe in like shorts and stuff like this, and then give it these like big dynamic rounded sort of like parts with like the folds of the shorts here and everything, and like the sweetheart neckline, then it matches this sort of silhouette that's going on with my hair, like how, you know, the puffs of my hair match with like a heart-shaped sweetheart neckline and everything. And then I gave myself these little like over cuff hand and boot things because they were cute. Yeah, I like coming up with the different stuff for every person. It makes it so fun for me. And especially because Intergalactic Disco, something I like about their outfits is the slightly different tops for them as well. How like, you know, some of them can have like a full jacket with a sort of shirt there, but some of them can have like detached and stuff. And some of them have like the sweethearts, or some of them have the straight necklines based on their busts and everything. I think it's super fun. Big surprises of which one caught my attention. Yeah. And I can also, same as every others, I will show you a snippet of this one just to flex it. Because it's really, really pretty. It's a very beautiful cover. But give me one sec. That is loud and you can't see it. Here we go. I am, once again, gonna have to do so much fucking copyright editing after the stream, but whatever. It's worth it. Because I want to show all the work that I did. I'm gonna find the part that I put as my Instagram story snippet. Which I think was from here, because that's where my solo is. Oh, right, and also I forgot to say this part, but so I did all the sketching, and then Amias did the lining and the, like, coloring on top of it. I actually, to be honest, I am incredibly unhappy with my vocals for this. Well, not incredibly. I'm okay with them. There's, I really like how the cover came out all together. I think it's really beautiful. I've listened to it a few times, and I really like everyone's blend together. And I'm okay with a lot of my vocals. There are some parts where I think they're really nice, but like that part, it's like, yeah, I listened to it and I'm like, I could do that better now in like 2 seconds. It's like, it's just, I did a thing that was a little too forced at the time because my voice wasn't working with me and it was kind of straining, but it's like what I wanted to do there is something that's really natural to me usually. So yeah, if I knew you'd understand. It's like, yeah, it's like, it sounds fine, but it's like, if I like, just give me like 2 seconds and I could record that better. It wouldn't be hard. I was trying to do something that comes really naturally to me, but because my voice was strained, then I had to force it, and then it sounds really strained when I listen to it. But whatever, I'm talking over everything. I do like how everyone blends together though. Yeah, you get it, Web. Yeah, it's such a pretty cover. Everyone jumps to breathe. Yippee! There's your preview. In fact, actually, I also want to play I find it really satisfying, the end bit, because in the original version of Intergalactic Disco, they actually, the final thing of 𝘆cije𝘂𝗿 or I'm in love with you, they don't all hold the same length. All of the vocals hold it a different length, and most of them cut off around the same part, and then it's only Junko /Caitlyn who holds it all the way to the end. But for this, everyone held it the same, and it makes me very satisfied to listen to. I sound so nasally, sorry. I really like how we all ended up with a rainbow color palette as well. I think it's really fast, so that's fine. Oh, it was too early. I could have put this later. There we go. Here, it's from here. So satisfying. I like that. I like that. But yeah, so it's the cover of Intergalactic Disco. And if you like it and you want to hear more, you gotta go listen to it. Same as with Dive of Mr. Blue Sky and with my Cosmic Collective Rival. Though my cute Cosmic Collective Rival. Those are all in my playlist of work that I did. Yeah. And you know what? I think I have just a little bit of time because I have not scheduled the stream for this on YouTube yet, but after this stream later I will also be doing a collab with Weeby Meezy, playing a game together at 5. It is 4:45 right now. I intended to end this at like 3 but I yapped about my dad for too long first. But let me open 𝘆cie𝘂𝗿 Studio because I can talk about the stuff I did for Nightcall. Oh, we have a little bit of time because I can end it for it. I think that's fine. Level 3 of those songs. Yay! So do I. I think they're freaking awesome. I'm totally not biased. But yeah, because what I also did, if 𝘆cie𝗂𝗿 will load, is I was in a very cool cover of Night Cool, the song from Drive by 𝘆cie𝗂𝗿, for a fan project for 𝘆cie𝗂𝗿. I've done 2 NEG fan projects now. Did I do Mr. Blue Sky for 𝘆cio and Night Cool for 𝘆cie. Well, no, 3, because I also did an original song for 𝘆cie before. I did Heartbeat. Where is the... So I'll show a snippet of this as well. God, my copyright claim is just going to go insane. The art for this is so fucking gorgeous. Taru did such a stunning job on this art. And Milka with this background here as well. So fucking beautiful. But what I did for this is I did the 𝘆cie tuning of Liam, and I also provided additional vocals for it. It was actually like my 2nd time ever being just entrusted with the 𝘆cie vocals, because I also did that for Heartbeat, the original song that we did, and I am still very much learning 𝘆cie. Meadow trusts me very much, but Neri also comes in to fix it up for me as well. That's me in the back. Tara's art is so gorgeous, man. It's so stunning. We'll go home night long. Don't want to hear. But yeah, so I tuned the 𝘆cie for this, and then Neri did the mix with it and also fiddled with a little bit of my settings. And then I sung the chorus, and I'm also not happy with my vocals for this, but at least they're there. There I am. Boom, 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 boom. There's something inside you. Yeah, I like how this part sounds at the end. I think my vocals sound better in this when they're in this little bit. This bit. God, Tara's art is so gorgeous. I fucking love Tara's art style so much, man. There's something inside you. There's something inside you. It's hard to explain. It's hard to explain. They're talking about you, but you're still the same. Boom, 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 boom. But yeah, so that's Night Cool. And again, if you want to hear it, you gotta go listen to the whole thing, and you gotta go see all of Tara's gorgeous art in there. It's really, really cool. It's really, really pretty and awesome. It's really awesome. But yeah, so that was a fan project that my friend Mamadou hosted. As a cover of Night Cool, because Vox loves that song very much, and she came up with this whole awesome story, the whole awesome storyline for it with Vox and Voxanne, and with this idea of a sated Vox, like going around and, you know, killing people because he needs to in order to survive and take their souls and everything, and like more and more wanted things coming up with him, more and more new stuff, and him like calling Voxanne from a phone booth and everything, and sort of like telling him exactly like it is in there, like talking about how it's like, I've done fucked up shit, but also I want to fuck. And she's just like, shit. That's my really stupid way of putting it. It has a lot more emotional weight in the thing, but that's my silly way of saying it. I think I have my Night Cool 𝘆cie file here. Project conversion. No, wrong file then. Do not change it, actually. No, I don't want a file change. I swear I made it in 𝘆cie too. There's something inside you. Voxanne is from Vox. Yes, that is gender bent Vox, who also kind of is her own character sometimes. It's hard to explain. There it is, the file. They're talking about you, boy, but you're still the same. Here it is. I know you guys can't see that yet. Hello. You can hear the, oh, it's got to load. But you can hear the Liam vocals that I did. Yeah, I'm very new at 𝘆cie tuning. I've been practicing for a while because I started using it specifically for the intention of using it for vocal guides when I do trans lyrics and for like original songs for groups that I'm in. So most of my experience with it is for that. So I don't really do much in regards to like tuning for like making them expressive. That's something I've been practicing at for the last few months or so. Or I guess for like a year now, because I started practicing, yeah, for a year or two now I've been practicing that part, but I don't really post much of that yet. I have, here he is.
I'm good.
Oh, that's playing on my speaker. Don't do that. This one's very stiff though on purpose because of the way that the voice and sounds.
I'm giving you a night call to tell you how I feel.
It was really interesting to tune though because I got to mess with the vocal modes a lot in order to get the same sort of texture that the original has, because the original sounds like this.
I'm giving you a night call to tell you how I feel.
So I needed to replicate that sort of thing, but also most of the texture there, it's because they used like a text to speech thing for it. So it's based on a text-to-speech voice they then stretched out. But we wanted to use synth for it, especially because we wanted to make it sound a little bit more like Vox and have a little bit more of our own flavor to it. But so trying to take a synth and make it sound like 𝘆cie𝘂𝗿, but also not exactly like him because it's never going to sound exactly like him because it's a random synth was very tricky. We initially started with 𝘆cie actually, because I used 𝘆cie in Heartbeat. And because of the way he was using that, because he was just like these octave downs in the back and mostly just like grumbling as a texture, it sort of sounded almost like 𝘆cie𝘂𝗿 when you're like not focused too much, which was the exact goal for a metal. And she wanted that for this as well, but it wasn't as achievable when he is the main vocalist and much higher and like, you know, more prominent. So we then ended up switching to Liam because he has more of that sound. 𝘆cie has very like unique and rich tone. You can really hear Eric in it, whereas Liam is a little bit more generic and a little more white. But then something that also was interesting for me is Liam has like a sort of like country twang to him, but 𝘆cie𝘂𝗿 notably is British. But this song is obviously not written with British in mind. But so I had to think for myself and analyze the way that Vox sings and the parts of his like accent that sound more British and the parts that sound more like a British person singing American and try and replicate that. I didn't do that much, to be fair. That makes it sound like I did something super crazy, but it's just like loads of little places where I tweaked little bits of the pronunciation or like the little bits of the way that they use their consonants in order to give it slightly more Britishness. Because it doesn't sound like Vox in the thing, but it gives it a little bit of flavor of how I think he'd sing it.
I'm giving you a night call
based on the way he sings and the way he like
how I feel.
Vox is a lot more flowy with his voice and like a lot more one consistent notes, whereas this is really stiff.
I want to drive you through the night, down the hills.
Like I think in this part you'll be able to see if I find the notes. So there's a lot of places where I'd mess with the like phonemes here.
I want to drive you through the night.
Because it was originally would sound like I wanted to drive you through the night, but I needed to get the Vox sound, so it's like I and want to and drive in order to get the make it sound more British.
I want to drive you through the night.
So I wanted to get that correct sound of like a British person who's singing an American song.
Down the hills.
Or at least not make him sound like he's Southern American like Liam initially does.
I'm gonna tell you.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize that was loud as shit.
You something you don't want to hear.
Oh god, sorry, it's really peaking on the sibilants, isn't it?
I'm gonna show you where it's dark, but have no fear.
There he is. That's pretty much all his vocals, so that's the end of that. And you know what? I think while I'm here, I might, while I have a few minutes, show you guys some of Heartbeat. Because there isn't as much to show for this one. But I can pull up, actually, all those will be in Synth 1, won't they? Hold on. I can show you the original file for Heartbeat, the original song that we wrote. And I will definitely talk more about that another time, because I'd love to yap more about the lyrics. But I think I want to make like a Twitter post, like a video, diving into the lyrics of that one, since it's a whole original thing. And I wanted to explain it for more people and more like kindred and stuff. There's something inside you, it's hard to explain. They're talking about you, boy. It's gonna take ages to load though, but you're still the same. Because I have I have the file for Heartbeat, the original 𝘆cie𝘂𝗿 song that I wrote last year. Because we released this one for his birthday last year. I mean, this was released for his birthday as well. But for his birthday last year. And this was an original song that my friend Meadow came up with the idea for and then commissioned me to write. The instrumental is not in here. Huh. Well, that's okay. I will pull up the playlist again, because it's in there. I love this fucking beat so much. Really sexy bass. And for this song, what I did is I was the songwriter. So not only did I write the lyrics, but also like the vocal melody and everything. Meadow also helped me with some of the lyrics. She did a part that I'll point out in a sec. Yeah, Meadow was also a lyricist. We like worked together in that while I was songwriter all together, because it was like my main job to do the lyrics and write the melody and stuff. I also wrote like the harmonies, which is still new for me as well. Like tuned the vocal synth. 𝘆cie also helped with that. I did most of the vocal synth stuff and then gave it to 𝘆cie to fix, because I was very not good at it, especially for the like spoken spoken rap part at the end. It's not really rap, just spoken, yeah. Like the spoken part at the end, I needed Neri's help with, and he saved that because it sounded so awesome before. And also, I was an additional vocalist. By that, I mean, I moan. Like in the other song, I was the femme vocalist while we had Cynthia Liam for all of the mask parts. But for this one, my additional vocals is moaning. That's what you hear at the start there. That's that. I'll open that in Audacity in a sec. I'm gonna play the song for you guys. And this one uses a Natalie. Free ASMR roast pack. Yeah, I'll pull up on Audacity. I also did that, and then I moan again here. After he growls. I love the little glow on her there when it does that. It's really cool. Metal wrote the lyrics for this part.
What's good for me have never been the same. So make love and war to me. I'll be the only one to blame.
And then this part after is one of my favorites. It's actually a reference to his original song. That part is a reference to How to Get Away with Murder. Yeah. So that's one of the song. If you want to hear the rest of it, you gotta go listen to it. Ha ha ha. Let me pull up Synth V. Because that part is referencing the red draws back. Here's the. That's playing on my speaker too. Fuck's sake. Don't stop playing on my speaker. Don't do that.
Rose-tinted pain.
You get to hear the layers like this and also hear it with slightly worse tuning because a lot of this, again, the tuning was then fixed up by Neri.
Painting a picture with the palette of a blood stain. Red lip calling your name. Love is blind till it's hindsight. But I do it again. In a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. In a heartbeat.
I forgot these sounds a little bit. Kuma. When it's on its own.
In a heartbeat. Intertwining.
We also did a lot of these parts with the like glitchiness here.
In a heartbeat.
Because Neri changed a lot of that when he was mixing. I just kind of did it as like a sample, and then we went back and forth a lot on how we wanted to do those parts. It was really funny because like Neri, as you know, is kind of nocturnal, but I'm not. So I, wrote a bunch of stuff and then gave Neri the files, and we did a lot of the mix stage last minute. Neri grinded through it all in like a day or two, and he was really goated. He's such a fucking champ. And he'd like sit with me while he works on it, and I'd go into his room and give him like feedback and my notes and certain things and how I imagine certain layers or extra like vocals and like mix things and like effects. And then I would go to bed, and then Meadow would come online after she finished work and sit in VC with Neri and go through all and basically say, yeah, okay, so all of the things that I don't like, this, get rid of this and this and this and then this, and then add this, and then I go back and be like, huh, okay, so Meadow got rid of all the things that I specifically wanted to add. Awesome. And that's not a problem. This is something that I find funny. That is often how like the creative process goes when you're working in a team, especially on original things like this. And I think it's really funny because we worked out on something that I really like in the end, and I totally by the end accepted all of Metal's changes. And also like her word was final. It was her vision. I was just like the songwriter on for it. But it was very funny doing that back and forth rather than being in one call, because most of the time it was like me communicating with Neri and then Metal communicating with Neri because of our different time zones. So I would like say add this thing and this thing specifically, and the Metal will be like, yeah, no, actually now here I don't like that thing. I think we should get rid of that, and then like cut. There were several like lines or effects that I did that got cut over time, but that's something that's really fun. Something really fun and interesting when you make original things. You often have to kill your darlings, which means that sometimes you'll come up with something that you think is cool, but if it doesn't benefit the overall vision as good, then you gotta cut it, and that's okay because it makes the whole thing in the end more satisfying. Here's this part.
What I want.
Because there's actually, in this part, there's a lot of extra stuff.
Love and war to me, I'll be the only one to blame.
Because I had an extra vocal run right here. Yeah, because I imagined a lot more like extra glitchy effects over it, and I had a thing that was like, with like glitching in and out. But Meadow didn't like it because she wanted more of like the beat to sort of speak for itself. And I think that definitely works a lot better. It gives a lot of more like the sexy mystery to it all when it's just the bass there. And then we have this part. Because this part is a reference to How to Get Away with Murder by 𝘆cie𝘂𝗿. It's a motif stolen from there. The second chorus.
Rain. Write in your scripture with a dip into a blood stain. Red lips sharing the shame. Dim the lights in my mind's eye, and I'll do it.
You know, I have a really specific curse, by the way, that with every single original song I write, and also with half of my trans lyrics as well, it's always the second chorus that is my favorite lyrics. The second chorus or the second verse is always my favorite lyrics in the whole song. I will talk about this more when more of the original things that I've written that are still like in NDA mode are out, but that's always fucking happens. Oh, you can also hear the worst version of the spoken bit, because I did this, I struggled a lot with this. I was not good enough at synthwave tuning to pull this off of myself, because I mostly, like, I spoke it myself and then worked it in synthwave and fiddled with it, and Neri had to come in and save it, but it was sounded a lot shitter before.
Breathing fire, so we steam up the glass. He's a liar, but I never asked.
It sounds so much better in the final version.
Call it hunger, then I'm quenching a thirst. Need it not like water, like embers need to burn.
Burn.
Can I get it if I live in your past?
I do like the lyrics for this part a lot, though. I think I coached there.
And I like how he acts.
Whisper me secrets to keep under my tongue, 'cause to mirror you I need a little smoke in my life. This part also got changed a lot because it was too glitchy until before.
In a heartbeat, in a heartbeat, again and again.
I fucking love how this part sounded, though. Can you believe that that is all just Asterion, just me fucking with Asterion and not mix the growl that we have there? Like, that's just synthwave.
Again and again.
It's so sexy. I love it. I was kicking my feet when I pulled that off. He just fucking growls. He purrs. It was so yummy.
Again.
Because it sounds like her like getting like devoured, and I fucking love it. But yeah. So that's a little behind the scenes on Heartbeat. I will definitely talk some more sometime about all the lyric process and stuff like that, because I wanted to for ages. I'm gonna go Satsu mode. Because I wanted to for ages, but what I'll probably do for that is do it as like a post sometime, because I meant for ages with Metal to like write out a whole thing of the process for Nightcool and for Heartbeat and everything, because we wanted to talk about that with other kindred. But yay, we did a little behind the scenes yap into a whole bunch of projects of mine. I've been waiting so long to ramble about these things. I need to ramble about every single thing that I create, bro. I waited for ages. Oh my god, I'm so glad everything's out and I can talk about it. But yeah, I hope you guys liked seeing in a little bit into my process and a little bit into my brain, and maybe getting some tips from how I do art. I don't know if many of them are helpful, but yay. And you got a whole bunch of unreleased stuff as well. And I've got an hour that I'm gonna have to spend in YouTube Studio editing up copyrighted content probably. But yeah, if you want to see any of the things that I talked about working on today, if you want to listen to them all in full in your own time, they're all very awesome, and a whole bunch of other awesome people worked on them as well, because I only talk about my part of it, but there's tons of other people in there that I worked with that I love, and you should check out their stuff as well, which you can find in the descriptions of all of them. So you can go to my channel. There is a playlist of work that I did, which I'll probably link in the description of this stream now I think about it. A playlist called Work I Did, which has all of the things that I worked on as stuff for lyrics and for art and everything like that, and for harmonies or any other additional things, and also for like vocals as well. I have a playlist of songs I sang, stuff like that. You can find them everywhere. But yeah, also, so for today, obviously we have this. In an hour, I'm going to be hanging out with Weeby Meezy, with Webimesh, with Weeby Meezy, with Internet Sensation Weeby Meezy. I haven't made the thumbnail for that stream yet because I got too EP last night and forgot. But we're gonna be playing Web. What's the game called again? Wait, hang on. I check my messages with Web. I forgot his name. Wonder Wickets. We're gonna be playing a really silly little golf game called Wonder Wickets. Yeah, you made the thumbnail? Yay! Gimme. We're gonna be playing a really silly game called Wonder Wickets in an hour. A little golf game that I've never played before, but Web has introduced me to, so we're gonna be doing that. I will schedule the stream as soon as I end this one. I'll go and like put it up so you can go find that yourselves. But yeah, this was a little chat, and I'm gonna go get a snack and cool down my room a little bit, and then I'll be back with Web in an hour. Yay! This is fun. I'd like to do this more often when I do like a bunch of different projects and stuff, especially when I like, you know, was on like a almost like hiatus for a couple of weeks in order to get the shit done and also like not die from sickness and heat wave. It's fun to be able to catch up with you guys and talk about everything that I was doing that whole time when I couldn't, you know, stream and yap about it. So yeah, that's all for now. Well, your day's not about to end, so it's hard to say 𝘆cie𝘂𝗿 because your day's not about to end. It should be just getting started and have a very lucky time in our next stream. But if your day's about to end, then 𝘆cie𝘂𝗿, and if it's just getting started, have a very lucky day. And if it is just getting started, I will see you in an hour. Bye bye. Bye bye.